Warning. It is the opinion of the Forestry Productions LLC and the Working Perspectives podcast that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You have been warned, so if you decide to listen to the recording, then don't complain about the language. Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by Ndub, Justin Richardson, the terrific Tom Lavelle, and our guest today is the one and only Lasmeesh, Liam Reese. You can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe so I stop having to ask you to like and subscribe. Ndub, you ready to get this thing started or what?
Sure am. I'm excited.
Love it. Love it. Tom, terrific. You ready to do this thing or what?
I am excited to get this going.
Love it. Love it. All right. Well, this is the Working Perspectives podcast. Let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's our objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our vibe and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. Would you share it? Would you share it? Would you share it? Working perspectives.
All right. Let me tell you a little something about our guest today, Lasmeesh, Liam Reese. So this is something I think that happens in most like adult lives, right? I didn't run into Liam until I was like 15, 16 years old. We met when we were in high school, right? And I remember the first time I talked to him, I went up to him and was like, yo, you're friends with Brandon Hill, right? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, okay, we're going to be friends then. Right. And that's just kind of how it went. And I'll tell you, man, it's, we were pretty like, I always really liked him in school. We really got along because he's funny. Right. And we I liked hanging out with him. Really good dude, just like an honest, smart, good dude. And then we, after high school, kind of, we see each other now and then. We try to hang out and stuff, which is cool every time we did. I'd run into him here and there, just having fun doing things. But he is someone that would like pop in my mind every, occasionally over the years when I didn't see him and be like, what is this guy up to? You know what I mean? Like, where's this guy? I want to run into this guy. And I'll tell you this, and this, I've said this, and this is 100% true. You can backdate it to Brandon Hill's first episode where I had said, I was like, I would love to get, when we were talking about getting people for guests to be on the show, is I told him, I was like, I would love to get Liam on the show. I fucking love that guy. He's a great dude. He's fucking funny. He's smart. He's a good guy. So I'm, when I heard that he listened to the show and would be happy to come on the show, I was fucking tickled pink when he agreed to. He's now become a mainstay on the Weekend Poppin', which is available on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast, and it was every Friday at noon. And dude, he's been killing it on there. He was great on the Ndub Roundtable Part 2, Back in the Habit. And I'm just super excited to get him here. We have a lot of stuff to go over, a lot of stuff to cover. So I'm going to cut to the quick. Lasmeesh, happy to have you here. Thanks for coming on. I'd just like to ask real quick, how do you like your Cheetos? Are they crunchy or are they puffed?
Always crunchy.
Always.
Do you remember this may have came up, but in Little Giants, remember they pull the cheese curls out of the kid's helmet?
No,
what happened? Crunchy They're like crunchy or puffed, and he's like puffed. He's like wimp
Yeah, exactly.
because he had puffed cheese curls in his helmet.
Wait, hold on 1 second. Time out. I might just had a realization. The Giants ended up winning. So
Yeah.
who really was the wimp? You know what I mean?
Dude, it was he was your neighborhood friendly gas man, right?
Right, but they won. They beat the Cowboys. He eats puffed. Oh man, that's a score for puffed in my opinion.
Oh yeah, and he was
feasting
feasting people in the movie too.
Yeah.
So not such a win.
what was his name?
That's actually
Louis
a good
Lastic,
point.
right? J-Dub, weren't you supposed to have a bag of puffed?
No, there was there was like 6 in the bag, and I looked at my
He
girlfriend. Like,
crushed
why
them.
is this in here? They're all stale and old as shit. I was like, I'm not eating these.
Yeah, that's when
I
they're
mean, I
at
ate
their
like
best.
4 of them
eats them.
downstairs.
Let me tell you, this bag won't last very long because they're the best.
Yeah, it's pretty good, especially when you get the flavored ones like the jalapeno Cheetos.
Oh hell yeah!
Jalapeno.
Pretty fucking good. Pretty
I don't
fucking
dislike
good.
crunched. I just, if I had to pick, I'm a puff boy at heart.
Well, I mean,
You're a
now-
ball guy. Don't
Yeah.
lie. You're a ball guy.
I'm a puffy ball guy.
Sure. Well, you're also, as we found
Purple
out,
top.
you're not alone. You're not alone. There's another
One
puff
and only.
boy hitting the streets. Yep, go ahead. Your boy,
Yeah, Mickey Batts is the only other person to say puff so far.
the only one, the one and only. And you know, he probably is the last one. We really
When
do
I
have
asked-
to change the question.
I
Go
asked
ahead,
my
Justin.
girlfriend downstairs. She's a puff girl.
Well,
I
match
surround
made in heaven.
myself with just
With
puff
puffs.
people.
You're a puff. Yeah, you're a puff. The conglomerate of puff. That's what you
Nobody
are.
wait.
challenges you, bro. Nobody challenges you, man.
I live in a puff free world.
Mhm.
One time.
One time. One time. So yeah. Well, then let's ask this question: who do you prefer, Liam, Biggie or Tupac?
Biggie.
Biggie all the way. Jada, what
Yeah.
did you say to that?
Biggie.
Yeah.
Same.
All right. So we can't fucking ask that question because we both agree.
Mhm.
God
I
damn
think
it.
everyone's gonna go Biggie, especially on the East Coast.
Oh, he's the fucking, but he's the best though. Honey's play me close like butter play toast. Enough said. What was the other question that we had? There was a third one.
Is it about Butterfingers?
Oh,
Because I'm not a fan of Butterfingers. And while I enjoy them and I think they're good, they're not worth the teeth stuckingness.
I actually agree.
I'm a grown
that.
man picking peanut butter into my
That's a
damn
kill.
molars. I'm like, I'm not eating this, yo.
Fuck
you,
off that.
do it.
Matt.
you fucking twats.
Ah.
I've never said that Butterfingers are the best candy. all
Yes, you
right?
have. Yes, you
I
have.
have not. I said they're a top 10 candy.
No, now it's 10. Oh my God.
And I
Guys,
said in
we
my
were
book,
at the
they're
grocery
top
store.
5.
He had a full choice. He could have gotten any candy bar he wanted, any bag of candy. It was Halloween. Could have got the he should have got a variety pack, right? He gets a whole bag of Butterfingers. A whole bag of Butterfingers.
Yeah, that's madness.
Don't
Yeah.
you're telling me you've never had a craving for a Butterfinger?
Get a variety
Uh,
pack with Butterfingers in it and other stuff.
I do remember this.
There's
Going
always
to-
a candy in there you don't like.
Yeah. Oh, dude, the plain
It's
Hershey
got like a-
bars can go suck a dick. They
Yeah, they'll
suck.
put like Hershey peanut or Hershey with almonds or some
Oh,
shit.
dog, but you
is in
had-
there.
Go suck a chode in the party.
It's better
had-
than Butterfinger.
Yeah. When
Not
you had
true.
Yo, what
nothing
is your
left-
actual favorite though?
I mean, dude, Reese's cups are way up there.
Yep.
Reese's Pieces, fucking love Reese's Pieces. Dude, Skittles. I'm a gummies guy too. You know, what
I say
mean?
Kit Kat is the
Kit
best.
Kat. Is that?
candy,
But like, is that
period.
the best chocolate one? Do we have to separate chocolate and gummy? Because
Yeah,
like,
okay.
because
that's
like
fair,
lifesaver, the lifesaver gummy combo gimmicks or Starburst jelly beans are
Yeah.
fucking like
Yeah.
no
Starburst
one,
jelly beans.
no one touches Starburst
Incredible.
jelly beans. No one.
Nerds Rope is fucking
Oh.
Nerds Rope is top tier.
Did you
dude.
get
Nerds
the
Rope? is
nerds?
Have you had the
gummy
Nerds
gimmicks?
clusters?
Oh, the
The
Nerds
Yeah, those are good
clusters?
too, Tom.
It's like,
Nerds clusters are bang. They're good.
But I was a big Chewy Spree guy for a while
Ooh,
too.
those
I
those
like the
bang.
Chewy Spree.
Yeah.
Airheads are decent. too.
Remember
Love
the
a good Airhead.
N cream hard candies?
No.
No.
There was like berries and cream, strawberries and cream. They were,
Oh,
like
I
hard,
do
like
remember
nice
that.
savers. They
I
gave them like
do
a
remember
caramal
that.
flavor too, or something.
Yeah.
Cream savers, they were called.
Cream
Yeah,
saver.
cream savers,
Yeah, they were pretty
yes.
good.
I
Yeah,
remember those.
cream
One of my
savers, that's what we
friends
call
growing
Justin's
up-
Mom.
One of
Bro,
my
back
friends
to
growing
hard
up.
candy game.
J-Dub, remember Smitch's dad worked for
Dude.
Nestle, so he had like
Shout out.
candy
Did
Did you
Boy,
hear
like,
that,
in his
J-Dub? Did you
fucking
hear
garage.
Something about cream in my mother. Just gonna
Cream
let that go.
Savers. He said that was your mother's nickname.
Oh God.
I'm sorry, Justin. I've never made fun of your mom or anything on this show, but I can't say it about my mom, which is Tom's mom. And then Liam's mom I've never met her. And I've never met your mom either, but Liam's the guest and you're here every week. So
I met your mom, Lavelle.
well,
And it was
all
very
right,
interesting.
We might have to cut this story.
She's an
but
interesting lady.
are you allowed to say why you had that on you, Liam?
Yeah. I'm cool with that story.
So me and Liam, we graduated high school and we'd seen each other on and off for a couple of years. And like, so one day I was living in Manayunk at the time. And I remember when I would drive back from Manayunk, I didn't drive for a long time. I didn't drive till I was like 25. And when I was driving one time, Jesse Alcaro would drive me around a lot. And we were whenever we'd come back from Manayunk, we'd be like, yo, can we go through North Wales? I want to see if the guys are there. Right. And like, I would go by 8th and Church, like by your house all the time. And sometimes you guys were on the corner and whatever, and doing your thing. I remember like, if we had like a roach or something, we'd be like, here, if you want it, whatever, or just like, we'd just talk and see what you're doing. But one of these times, like, I was like, what are you doing? You want to hang? And you were like, yeah, but you were moving stuff like you were selling at the time, you were hustling. And so you had a backpack. And I remember I was like, all right, we'll go over to my mom's, we'll chill, we'll like walk, hang out. And you had to go meet a friend, Toad. You had to meet him and you met him at 4th Street Park at the basketball court. And so you only took what you needed to go to the park and left the bag at my mom's house. Right. So we went and we come back and it smells like a skunk was at my mom's house. And I was like, Mom, did you? And she's like, yeah, I took a puff. I just grabbed it out of your bag. Took a puff. I was like, that's not my fucking bag, Mom. It was Liam's. And she's like, oh my gosh. Oh no. And then she made us like some fucking food. And Liam's like, yeah, I don't care.
Yeah. She made me like a banging, like the best dinner and everything. And really, like, if your mom's cool enough that she like blazes, it's like kind of an honor that like, you know what I mean? That she like got from my bag.
Yeah, she liked you. She would bring up, remember that guy I took weed out of his bag? What was his name? I was like, oh yeah, Lasmeesh. Yeah. But yeah, so then that was that
boy. He was a nice boy. I liked him a lot.
Yeah.
He should come over more often and bring his bag. I would like it if he brought his bag over more often.
Yeah. No, yeah, that was
Tell him there's more gabagool over here if he brings that back.
I forget what you
I can't remember what we ate either.
Dude, I do want to
remember it was a solid dinner.
Hide up shit.
I do want to talk about this though, Liam, if you remember this. So we've told this story on the show before about Pete, where someone had made Pete mad outside of Mike's Tavern in Ndub. And
oh God.
Me and Liam were front row seats for that fucking thing. And I was like, because like we were all hanging out at the bar and Liam was there and like we're hanging out having a good time and someone starts mouthing off to Pete, right? And Pete's like, all right, and Pete's, everyone knows, nicest fucking guy in the world. If you're making Pete angry, then like you're doing something.
You're a dick. You're a dick.
Wrong.
Yeah,
there's no way you're not. If he's pissed, you're doing something fucked
correct.
Up,
You're the asshole. Yeah. So him and that guy that was pissing Pete off, they go outside. And like, I wasn't even there. Like when they went out and someone grabbed me and they're like, hey, can you go out and break it up? I was like, yeah. So I go out and I get in between them. And then Liam walks out and he goes and he's there too, like trying to referee the situation with me. And I just remember him distinctly saying, hey, does anyone want to get fucking arrested tonight? Oh no, then let's go fucking back in. You know what I mean? But then the polar bear got let out of the zoo and that was fucking that, bro. Do you remember, Liam? Because I remember it was you and me, and I remember being like, dude, we fucking help me grab him because I can't get him myself.
And I was like, sure, no problem. You know what I mean? Pete, no problem for me, dude.
Yeah, Pete, no big deal. But bro, and it was like, I remember it took like, I mean, it was tough to get him off. I was like,
I'll be naturally
strength of 10 men.
He's just naturally, dude. He's one of those guys that's so naturally strong. Like he wouldn't go to the gym for like say if he missed like a couple months of the gym, he could walk back in day one. He's repping 225, no sweat. You know what I mean? Like to be that naturally strong, like get the fuck out of here, you know. So all right, well, yeah, so that was that. But
Good
yes,
times. Good
yes,
times.
it's great. So Lasmeesh, thanks for coming on the show, man. How are you, brother?
I'm great, man. Every
Nice.
day's a gift, right?
Yeah, yeah. Tom, did you want to elaborate more on the Butterfinger story?
Do you want me to?
Butterfingers.
I mean, I feel like you wanted to, and I cut you off.
No, I'm good. We keep going.
All
I
right.
want to know more about Lasmeesh.
So, yep. So let's get started. So let's start at the beginning then. Lasmeesh here was born in Virginia Beach, Virginia, the capital of the Confederate States. And then he moved from there and lived in Rockaway Park, Queens, right?
Yes.
And you lived there till 93, so you're maybe 8 years old, right?
Yep.
Around that time. And then that's when you left there and you came to North Wales, PA, to 8th and
That's right.
Church. So
That's
you
right.
left all those sane people in Queens to go live next to the most rational and calm and sane family ever, the Romeos. No, I'm
Yep.
kidding. But so you were in Queens though for a little while. I mean, like you kind of had a life going there. What was the reason? So you're the oldest of 4, right?
Yep.
So what was the reason for leaving Queens?
So Queens is actually, that side of the family is my dad's side of the family, all lives there.
Okay.
And they're awesome people. They're great people. Like,
Yeah.
but my dad just just wasn't.
Yeah.
So we started off in Virginia Beach because he was stationed there for the Navy.
Okay.
So he's in the Navy, and my parents met, they got married, everything, and like shit was good as long as he was in the Navy. And then he got other than honorable discharge. So he did something fucked up.
Oh,
Nobody really knows because nobody's got like a straight story from him or anything. So then they came over to Queens and we lived there for a little while. And, he just kind of, he was like a shithead, you know what I mean? Like drank a lot, fucking out partying and stuff. All the while, he's like, knocking my mom up every year and a half.
Yeah.
Not slowing down at all, like a dick, So finally, my mom's living there with 4 kids, and he's spending all the money like that, like as fast as he can make it. He's out at the bar spending it and everything. So she's like, fuck you. You know what I mean? Like my mom lives in, like my grandmother lived in North Wales. So she's pretty much like, you want to be an asshole? Fine. You know what I mean? Like me and the kids will go to Pennsylvania. And
your grandmother's your mom's mom, right? That's who. Okay.
Yep.
And is your mom
So you
from
lived with your grandmother?
Yeah, I lived that's when we came to church in 8th. That was my grandmother's house. Yep.
And
So was you, your brothers and sisters, your mom and your grandmother?
Yeah.
And your
That's
mom's from here originally?
Yes, that's how she grew up.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
So, dude, I'll tell you this. And my mom, so me and Tom are, we're both 2 of 4, but there's 4 of us also. And our dad was away a lot too. And my mom has she's, and I have kids now. And so I have a kid and so does Tom. And my mom had 4 kids under the age of 6 at one point. And she was kind of alone at times, and she talks about the frustration, and I can see it. Like I have 1 kid, and just 1 kid alone isn't easy, and I couldn't imagine.
I couldn't even imagine. I couldn't imagine 4 kids. So by the time she had my brother, I was 6. So within 6 years, she had 4 kids.
Yeah.
Same deal. And then she has to come up here with kids from ages 2 to 8. And then just work that out on your own. So she's a saint in my opinion.
That's exactly what we kind of did. California, same exact thing.
Yeah.
Kind of a shame that it's that common, right?
Well, our dad came with us. He didn't stay.
Cool.
He was there, but he would
same age. I'm saying.
Yeah. But he wasn't there, he wasn't there because he was working a lot and stuff. And, he was always traveling for work and things. And then eventually he would leave. But you know, at the young ages he was there, and then but he also was like really sick and stuff too. He had a lot of issues.
That part with the kids being that close in age, I think is kind of awesome though.
Agreed.
Because then you always have people to hang out with. You're
Agreed.
super close, you know,
Yeah.
like some people have siblings that are like way older than them or something that
Yeah.
are like 10 plus years older than them. Like
Yeah.
when you have siblings that are all within, you know, a year and a half, 2 years from each other, then you always have someone to hang out with. You
Yeah.
know?
No.
Till you get older and you start fighting. Or whatever. But
No,
it's cool at first.
Yeah, dude, I couldn't agree more. And I've said it before, like to my wife, I was like, if I could afford it, I'd have a ton of kids, just because like our house, and you guys were all there, it was like a hotel where it's just like we always had a ton of people over, and like everyone's always hanging out, having a good time. Like we would play cards all the time and stuff too, and like, you know, just like everything was like we're just doing stuff, you know. And I kind of like, I do miss that. And like Tom will tell you, dude, no matter what time you woke up at our house, someone was always awake.
Oh my
No
God.
matter what
Oh my
time.
God.
Nice.
Right? Like it was just like, dude, like I remember getting up at like 2 a.m, going downstairs, and like either, you know, Tom would be there, or fucking my dad's awake or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, so, and there was someone always there. We had like relatives that would live with us and friends and things like that. So I don't know, man, but I agree with you. Like having a house like that where there's like a lot of action going on. I know, like I do miss it too. And I remember Alan Bach, friend of the show, former guest of the show. His brother is legit, like I think like 12 or 13 years older than him, maybe even more. So he was kind of just in and out when we were kids. You know what I mean? Like they're closer now, but like he just like we didn't really hang out with them. You know, and I think Alan always liked the fact that, like, you know, there was always 4 of us like so close in age and would hang out and stuff like that. You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying, but it could also be, it's fucking, dude, it could be tough if you're a parent.
Yeah, it's a gift and a curse.
Tough.
You're never alone. You're never alone, but you're never fucking can be left alone. You know, like it's, it can work both ways.
Yeah.
What was that like? So you move in with your grandmother. Like how much of a relationship did you have with your grandmother before you moved here?
So we visited her like in summers and everything, but obviously like we became like so much closer when we moved in there. And dude, she was strict, man. She held it down.
Was that tough?
Know?
Like, would you feel like, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's different as a kid, but because you maybe don't know any better, but like, I'd feel like, you know, you almost can't like be fully yourself in a house that, you know, you're living at your grandparents'. Is there anything like that? I don't know. I'm just asking, you know.
Yes and no. You know what I mean? Like you're a kid though, so you're always pushing your boundaries, seeing what you can get away with, or at least I was seeing what the fuck I could get away with. Yeah. Like she kept me in line, but unfortunately, like as I got a little bit older, she got lung cancer and passed away. And then like when they did the will and everything, like my mom ended up with the house, or she had to buy off like the other 3/4 from her other siblings or whatever. They worked it out. Basically, her and her siblings worked it out so that like we would stay in that house after my grandmother passed. And that's kind of when when I started pushing limits like big time, which is, I will say, is like nothing against my mom. She did everything she could. That was just like all me. But you know what I mean? Without like my grandma there, like in the house all the time, because she was retired, you know? So she would like hold it down. Like there would be rules and everything. And when you have like a single mom and like she's working all the time and stuff, and you're just like alone in the house, that's like when I got away with more shit, you know?
Yeah. Did the same exact stuff. We did the same exact stuff. It's probably why you hung out, you know, maybe you and Matt had a little bond, you know, because as soon as our dad moved out, how old were you when your grandmother passed away?
So it was 8. I moved here, so she probably passed when I was 14.
Dude,
14.
Yeah, around 14, 15.
So then our dad was at a house, and then it was like,
dude,
you know,
the law left with him.
Whatever we did, you know what I mean?
Fuck yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my mom was fucking. She was like, she was working, going to school, and then also like she wanted a life. Like she would go hang out with our aunts and stuff, and they would go do their thing and whatever. And like she also was like, the kids are older now, and like just don't get in trouble. Which fucking too bad that fucking happened. But you know, I'm your mom probably was like, she fucking needed that though. Like, you know what I mean? Like she would have lost it if you fucking 4 kids like that, and I bet there was times that like you'd lose it. It's just so much, you know. What were you gonna say?
Yeah,
Justin?
I can't imagine.
Yeah, so we had 5 boys in that one house, and the one Thanksgiving, my mom was just sitting down. She just started crying. She's like, I just want to buy someone a dress. She's like, all you animals talk about, and she's just like, I hate it here. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
there's 7 people in this house, and 6 of them are men.
Is that why I saw you wearing that? You let her buy you that dress, right?
She used to tell me when I got older, she used to tell me, she's like, are you bringing anyone to Thanksgiving? And I'd be like, no. And she'd be like, bring anyone, find them today, and just bring a girl to Thanksgiving. Don't show up without a female.
Nice. Yeah. Well, shout out your mom.
It's chaos. Yeah,
cream
5
saver.
5 boys. You can get away with whatever you want.
Classic cream saver.
The old cream saver.
I'm sorry, man. I'm so sorry.
Cream saver.
shout
Fan
out
of the
your
show,
mom.
listener of the show.
Yeah, fan show, listener show. So either way, sorry, Justin, I'll stop that. But let's keep it moving. So you're living at.
She wanted you to have your own cream saver to bring to Thanksgiving. You bring a cream saver to Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So Liam, you're living at 8th and Church. You're kind of like going up there. When what do you remember like who your first kind of friends were and like when you started hanging out with the crew? Like what's going on?
So when I first got there, when I was 8, I had Mrs. Miller for 3rd grade in North Wales Elementary. And one of the days when we were leaving, Travis, like Papa Skivit, like as we were leaving, he just like asked me, you know what I mean? He's just like, hey, you know, like if you want to, you come back to our house. We have like a trampoline in the backyard and everything. And like, so I went down to his house, we jumped on the trampoline, and like he had like this you know, what are the dogs that Lassie is? Border Collie? Is that what they're called?
Border Collie.
Yeah. It had like a Border Collie that would like run underneath the trampoline, and when you jumped, it would like freak out. And like it just, we had like so much fun doing that. And then like I went over his house once, and then like he's like my best friend like since that point.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And then next I met Mitchie, was at the top of my street. And then
R.I.P.
You know, like through elementary school, they were like my 2 best friends. I had like all their friends. Oh, Brandon was in North Wales, and he became like close with us. And but Eric moved over when we were in like 6th grade, Bark, and Mitchie knew him. So then like, you know, then like they were like all my best friends in like elementary school and everything.
And your crew just started to grow.
Yeah, even though I lived on 8th and Church between Tommy and the Zieglers, I still wasn't friends with them for like a while. Bo and his family, like the Zieglers, they didn't move there till like later. Like it was like Tommy was across the street, but he was like in a different grade, so I didn't really know him that well. Yeah. And then like one day we were out front, and Cabot and Bo's older brother Chaz was there, and they're trying to get us all to like fight each other. They're just like egging us on to like fight.
Fucking
they're trying
Cabot.
to get, they're like trying to get us to fight, but like nobody would like make the first move. You know what I mean? It was like Trumbauer brothers were there, Bo, Tommy, and then like me, and I think Mitchie was there too.
Wait, Peanut?
Yeah.
Oh.
He was Peanut. Steven was Peanut in our neighborhood. The John and Steven hung out in 4th Street too.
Oh yeah. So they were there, and like at that point I had already like heard John was like pretty tough, like in the neighborhood and everything. So like as they're trying to like egg us on to fight and everything, we're just like, yeah, like I'm not gonna fight him for no reason, but you know, like I'll defend myself, blah blah. And everybody's kind of like saying the same thing. And then Cabot and Chaz are like, oh, these guys are they're pussies, you know what I mean? And then they leave. And I just remember thinking like, fucking thank God, man. I did not want to fucking fight those guys.
Dude,
then like
how many times like I remember being in high school and people would go like, oh, there's gonna be a fight. And you would go, and there's these 2 kids, and everyone's there, and they clearly did not want to fight. You know, it's like the fight. They were like at that point, like they got in an argument in school, they leave, and now it's like, oh, they're gonna fight at this time, and it wasn't like
they didn't.
You know, they
want
and
nothing
everyone's
to do
like,
with it.
go fight, you know, like do it, you know. And it's a shame. I've seen it a couple times. It sucks.
So luckily they were cool, and then like nothing happened, and then like the next day or a couple days later or whatever, I went out and they were like sitting out there again, like Bo and a couple of them were like standing out there just like waiting. And like what? And then they like came up and I was like, oh fuck, man, is this gonna be like an everyday thing? You know what I mean? Like every time I see these guys, and they're like, hey, do you guys blaze? Do you smoke trees? You know what I mean? I was like, we were like, yeah. I was like, yeah, I do. And then they like brought us to this like tree, this like huge evergreen tree that they like drug a fucking like a couch underneath. They had like this setup inside this evergreen tree, and it's like right on the corner in someone else's fucking property, you know. So we like go in there and blaze with them, and then the rest is history.
Is that the spot?
No, that was like another thing across from Tommy's house.
They had a
just
couch,
fucking
they had
set
a
up.
couch
You know
under
how-
a tree
You know how like
in
a
a
tall,
neighbor's yard that they
like
smoked?
a tall evergreen, the branches will hang down like
Yeah.
almost to the
Yeah.
ground. So you
Yeah,
kind of like
living room.
dip underneath. So
Yeah.
once you're
Yeah.
underneath, you're kind of like mildly shielded. Like you know that like anybody who walked by was like, why are there 5 kids in there getting high under a
And
tree?
yeah,
Yeah,
why is
why
there
is all the
smoke
smoke
coming from this tree?
Yeah.
I
The
can't
tree's
imagine
on
what it,
fire.
I can't imagine what it looked like middle of the day, and you see a bunch of fucking idiot kids like stumble out from the tree, like you know what I mean, like eyes barely open, cheese and like from that fucking so stupid,
You
dude.
guys were literally smoking trees.
Yeah, literally.
Literally. Nice. So all right, and then that was kind of how your relation, and like that, I think that was eventually, because like from what I remember at least, and I think you guys would agree, like there was like I guess different factions in the NDub community, but eventually you guys would all just become one big crew. You know what I
Exactly.
mean? And it was we had the kind of same thing in 4th Street, where it was like, you know, there was older kids, younger kids, but eventually we'd all assimilate in like one big crew, you know. And that's just kind of like, you know, but that's just kind of was. And dude, I mean, I don't know, there was there was drugs and fun and stuff too, but I think athletics was even more important.
That's
like,
very true. Because
playing
football games would
football,
come out. Yeah, absolutely.
Football, dude, but then also like capture the flag, manhunt. We had like these woods by us that we played capture the flag at. That was incredible, you know, like, and it was just, dude, it was just awesome, like fun time. You know what I mean?
Oh
like
yeah.
fucking, you know, once that like crew was established and shit was going down and playing football all the time and baseball and wiffle ball and whatever, it was just, dude, it was the best, man. Them's were the days.
Hell yeah.
But nice. So, okay. So you're hanging out there, you're doing your thing, and that's kind of like middle school-ish. And then you would eventually go to high school, and your life would change forever when you met me. And then
True that.
Yeah. First impressions of Matt Lavelle. Go.
Was I right?
Yeah. Hold on. He told his bullshit story earlier. Oh, we're gonna be friends. What really happened now?
I thought that was right.
Yeah, what were we? Did we have gym together first?
We had Jim, and we had what was the one with Diaquano? It was like
that dude was the man.
We had
I love
Tom.
Diaquano.
That's right. No, that was the class. Yeah, that we used to fuck off all the time. Like, well, I remember. I think wasn't Cabot in our gym class too?
I think he was. He might have been.
So I just remember like all the like wrestlers that I was friends with knew him and were cool with him. So he pretty much told it the right way. Like I knew him through like we had like the same friends and everything. So I was like, oh, he must be cool. But when we had the ChemCom class, that's when like you're right, Lavelle. That's when we like really became friends because that guy was fucking cool and let us just like stick around the whole class.
He was the man. I remember
he
that
was
guy.
great.
Yeah, I remember.
He used to hang with Boys to Men. I think he went to school with Boys to Men.
What? Really?
Yeah.
Diaquano? He's a white guy.
Well, I thought he was like.
He's Italian.
Yeah, he's Italian, dude.
So, are you thinking of the right guy?
I'm thinking of the right guy. He had like black, kind of like slick back hair. I want to say glasses.
He always wore a turtleneck.
Yeah.
I remember
he was cool. He was cool. He was like, I forget where he was. He was like almost like before the hallway to get to like, what was a 3-story?
K-Pod.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he was like down there, right?
Yeah. I mean, when I had him, he was in the chemistry lab. So I don't know, but I think K-pop, but either way, I do remember this is that I remember talking to him like, dude, you can make a ton of drugs with all the stuff you have here.
Yeah.
And you know what he said to me? He's like, yeah, I know. You want to help me? And I was like, what? I was like, is this real? Is this real? But I was like, I think maybe he's fucking, Breaking Bad, that guy. What do you think? I don't know. But nah, he was cool. But that was when like, dude, we would seriously just like, I think he liked us though, because he knew we were fucking funny. Right. Like that class was just legit. Like there was like a lot of jokesters in that class. And we were just fucking, remember Toby?
Yeah. That wasn't his name.
I don't know. I don't know what
name.
his name is. Fucking
He moved
Tobes.
from like,
King
he
of
moved
Prussia.
from like Lower Marion or some
Why'd you
shit.
call him
Nobody knew
Toby?
who it was. So he just became Toby. I don't know who
his
called him
first
Toby.
his first day, someone said something, and I forget who said. I was like, his name's fucking Toby. No, I think I said because it was the Kunta Kinte thing.
Oh my god.
I was like, your name is Toby.
Yeah, that was it. He was, thank God though, he was a white dude.
He was white. He was white. He was white. Yeah. Fucking
Because then
Toby.
that joke would not be that funny.
Yeah. But it was, yeah,
You
it
gotta
was.
be careful with that joke.
Your name is
Mhm.
Toby. No, it was fucking hilarious. But no, that was yeah, that was a funny. There was a bunch of fucking idiots in that one. Willis was in that
Mhm.
class with us.
Yeah, he
J-Dub,
was.
you
Yeah.
know Willis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah,
he
he's a
skipped
fuck.
52 days of well, he was in 12th grade. I was in 11th, just to go home to his parents' house and play NCAA football and get high. And like he ended up failing out, and I ended up like Mr. Williams was like, if you miss one more day, you have to repeat the grade. I was like, all right, I'll come back. But I really miss playing NCAA football.
He was yeah, he got his GED though.
Yeah, he got his GED. Like they basically told him, like, if you miss another day, you're also gonna have to, like, he was in 12th grade. And like the next day he was like, nah, I didn't feel like going in. I'm just gonna get my GED. I was like,
Yeah, well, what are you gonna do? So all right, so let's keep it moving. So you're living at 8th and Church, the crew's kind of assembled, you're in high school now. You would end up graduating from North Penn, but it wasn't easy for you, so back off. But yeah, so you had a little trouble, you had an issue. Are you willing to elaborate on the thing that occurred?
Yeah, so when I was like 17, I did something like really fucking stupid. Luckily, it was like right when I was 17 though, and like not an adult.
Yeah,
So
they tried you as a minor.
yeah, so they sent me to Camp Adams. I don't know if anybody is familiar with that. They used to send a lot of kids up there for like weekends and stuff, like kids with behavioral issues, but they also had like a program for like kids that were like, went to court and got like, like, hey, you have to go so and so, like, you're detained for 3 months, 90 days, 100, I think it was like 101 days or something.
Jesus.
But like, it was like one of those things, like the decisions I made, like starting from that point, like looking back, it was like the dumbest thing you could do. But it was just like, I don't know. It was just like too much was like, it was just like too fun. It was
Yeah.
like where I was working, just like,
Yeah.
I couldn't believe they even put me in a situation where it could happen.
Right. So yeah, so you're in your senior year, you're working at a place, something happens there where you get in some big trouble. And then once you got in some big trouble, they kick you out of school, right? And then they send you up to this place called Camp Adams, right? And Camp Adams is it's almost like a juvie camp, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
So go ahead.
Sorry.
What? So no. So go ahead. So like, what kind of was it like? And then, what was your experience like there?
Dude, first of all, it's like but the best way to describe it is like an outdoor daycare for like, teenagers
Big
that
idiots.
are all idiots. Yeah, that are all morons.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know what I mean? Like
I've been
you
there.
do whatever you did, you get in trouble, then you know what I mean, you go through like the court system and everything, and then
Yeah.
they take you and they just drop you off on this mountain in Jim Thorpe. Like
Yeah.
and everything's open. Like you could try to run if you want, but you're wearing like this orange, you're wearing these like dingy sweats that everybody's wearing.
Yeah.
And you're like on this mountain. So I imagine if you left, you would have to like scale down and try to find your way. You'd have to try to find your way through the woods, like into a town or something. Like, I can't imagine it would even be worth it to try to escape for like, you're up there for a couple months anyway.
Yeah.
But it was just nuts. So in the beginning, they put you in this thing called adjustment, where you have to sit in like this tiny cloth tent and you have to sleep outside every night. And like,
was it cold?
Yeah, it was like the middle of winter. When I got busted, when I got busted, it was right before Christmas.
Oh my God.
I was there for Christmas and New Year's and everything.
Oh, bro.
Yeah. So, dude, if it got like really, really cold, if it got like so ridiculously cold where the wind was nasty, like, you know what I mean? Like the tents couldn't even take it. Then they'd round everybody up, bring you inside, like where they had us like eat breakfast and everything. And then you just throw a sleeping bag on the floor. You're there with all those idiots and everything. It was just like such an experience. And you would think like you would do that and be like, all right, man, maybe I should just chill the fuck out. Because like you do dumb shit and dumber shit happens to you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
What was like, so you met a lot of people up there. Did anyone who had the craziest story up there? Like who was the person that was locked up there? You're like, oh shit, this dude is nuts.
There was a kid there that was like younger than everyone else, and they sent him up because he not only like so we're all teenagers. We're like 16, 17, some 15. There's even 14-year-olds that some people are just big. There's like 14-year-olds there that would kick your ass when you're 17. You know, it's like kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But this kid was like smaller, man. He was like 11, 12 maybe, but he fucking like, we're all there for stupid shit. You know what I mean? Like we're all there for like, you know, like fighting, breaking and entering, like stealing, like stupid shit, you know?
Yeah.
He's there for fucking taking a gun and pointing it and actually like firing it at like 10 or 11 years old. Like he fired it with like the intention to like hit somebody. And usually there's like an age limit. Like you can't get locked up when you're that young, but he had already been there for years at that point, because I guess when they did that, they're like, no way, dude. Like, I know there's an age limit that you can't go to juvie or whatever. This fucking kid's going to juvie, you know, because he must have had like a past before that or something. And that must have been the line where
past
he was
before 11.
He must have, dude.
Could have heard the shit he did when he was 7. Oh,
I know. You guys know who Latarian Milton is? The kid that stole the car. You know, like fun to do. I yanked it. I yanked the thing.
I just want to do hood rat things with me and my friends.
Yeah, that kid.
Yeah.
What was the guy's name?
Oh God, I don't remember.
Dude, that's something like when I hear a story like that, I think like Mickey Batts, he should be that kid. And the fact that he's not, it is a testament to Mickey Batts. Episode available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube. At
the other person that likes Puff.
Yeah. But it was, dude, like he should be like a crazy like that. But you know, it's incredible that he's not. But I'll tell you this, Liam. So for me, I'd gotten expelled from school, and I was in the same boat as you were. Like we had to do a senior project, nowhere near to get done, right? My grades were all shit. I was just barely eligible because I was wrestling, right? And then like I was skipping school, I was like chasing girls, like doing all that stuff, right? And like just, you know, like totally undisciplined, everything like that. I get expelled, and then I have to go to this thing. It was a school called Lansdale Teaching and Tutoring, right? And dude, honestly, it was the best setup. I had to go, I think I went 2 days a week, maybe 3 days. No, I went 2 days. One day was for 4 hours and the other day was for 8 hours. Right. And then other than that, I just like worked and like hung out and did whatever. And dude, when I was there, I got straight A's in all of my subjects. The only time in the history of my life that I made honor roll. Right. And then also I was able to complete my senior project, which was I grew a potato and made something out of it. That was my senior project, right? And I was able to complete all that. And then because I got all that done, they let me walk with the class with you too, right? So like what happened with you? Because you were kind of up shit's creek before you got in trouble. Is that right?
I was at that point. At that point, I was failing out. You know what I mean? Like I would not have graduated that year, and then probably, to be honest, probably would have never graduated. Period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Same.
I probably the path I was on at that point. I'm sure if I didn't graduate then, 18, old enough to drop out, I would have just done that and said, you know, like I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
But they sent you up there, you're doing that shit, and like they bring you to this school, and like I'm a senior at that point. They hand me just like a, you know, like a generic science book. And it's like the science we learned when we were like in like 10th grade in middle school and everything. And then they just like assign you a chapter, you do the questions at the end, and you're right. It's not even a full day of school. The rest of the time you're doing like PT on the mountains or some shit, or they let you play basketball, or, you know, like it was just ridiculous. The only thing they did that was good is they really like focused on like the PT and everything. Like all the kids that went there and everything, when you left, like you were in like phenomenal shape, dude.
Oh, wow.
You know, but they also let me push my my senior project through there and everything.
Yeah.
And if you remember when we were in North Bend, like you had to do like a presentation and like a full report and everything.
Yeah, that's what
and
I
remember. Like I remember like being a senior in North Bend and being like, I'm not doing that shit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Same.
But
same.
luckily
I was like, I
there,
have no plans for this shit.
Yeah, luckily there, I just
There's
like,
no way I'm growing this potato.
I like researched sign language because like that's what my mom did for a job, you know. And then like I just like did a presentation for like, you know, like 5 minutes in front of like one of the teachers there, and then they just passed me for all of it, sent me back.
Same.
And the guidance counselors and principals were fucking pissed, dude, when I came back, and like they had to let me go to prom and like everything, and they did not want to at all. But since you withdraw failing, but you come in as you're essentially a new student when you come back.
Yeah.
And you know, then I got to walk, I got to go to prom, I got to do all that stupid shit, and did not deserve to at all.
No. I didn't get to go to prom or anything, but I mean, you know, I don't think I would have. I mean, I did have a date, but, you know, I don't think I would have anyway. But Tom, didn't you have a thing with your senior project that like you barely got it done too?
I barely got senior year done. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I got lucky. I don't know the name of the other teacher. He was an English teacher with a ponytail.
Oh God. Not
Hippie.
yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. He was like a cool dude.
Oh my God. He like smoked trees with some of the kids and stuff too.
Yeah.
Oh, what's that guy's name?
Jesus Christ.
Oh man.
I remember Johnny Costanzo was real cool with him too. Dude, I know exactly who you're fucking talking about.
Me too. He still
Nice
teaches
enough
there.
guy. And like I had been skipping school. Like there was like a month I just didn't go. I was like, I'm not going.
Yeah.
And
I remember.
so he was like, we're getting towards the end. He said, look, you're gonna fail, but I'll pass you if you have like 2 days. I want you to write me all these papers about this, and that, and I'll pass you if you bring me some like legit work. Like if you work, like, you know, he at least was like, you have to work for it, you know what I mean? But whatever.
Yeah.
And he passed me, and I was Kletzel? No.
Castle?
Did it
No.
start with a K?
I don't know.
Kelly?
I don't know.
Samson?
Swenson?
What did I say? Samson?
You know who's a fan?
Samsonite.
You know who's a fan of the show and listener of the show? Lasmeesh. Do you remember Mr. Barlow? The English teacher, Mr. Barlow. He was he was a black dude.
The name sticks out.
Yeah, he was
He was black?
He was our English teacher, and I don't know if you and me are in the same class, but I think you had him in 10th grade. I know Hill had him, but yeah,
It
Mr.
sounds
Barlow.
so familiar.
He was an awesome dude, and he was friends with the English teacher you're talking about, Tom. Yeah, they were.
10th grade was also when I discovered a bomb too. So it's like, you know, like we're trying to remember names and stuff. It's gonna be iffy around that time period.
Yeah, I got that plus CTE, babe. Let me tell you, it's nothing. It's a lot of fucking bubblegum up here, brother. So
How
nice.
to deal with all that stuff? It's right around Christmas time. You have to go up to this juvenile detention. You're like living with like all these weird people that you don't know, and you know that's got to be depressing, especially in the cold weather and stuff like that. Did you have any like? I mean, that must have been tough.
So unfortunately, like I didn't really have like that high self-esteem for myself. I didn't really care. You know what I mean? I was like, oh, it's me, whatever. But the part that hurts is like, like it hurts your mom. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
your family is
Yeah.
upset. Your
Yeah.
mom, you broke your mom's heart. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah. Did that.
that's the part that sucked. That's the part that made me sad. I was too cool for like Christmas and like I thought it was like I wore it like a badge of honor that I like got locked up. I thought I was still dumb enough and immature enough
Same.
to think that it was like cool that it happened.
And that people
you know?
gave a shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
Liam,
but
at,
it meant
at this time too, if I remember correctly, you had like a bit of a Slim Shady look going on, didn't you?
I did dye my hair. Yeah.
You were
During
dating-
that
remember
time,
that.
I did dye my hair.
weren't
yeah.
you dating Dory also?
I was. Yeah,
Nice.
she was my girlfriend in senior year. Yeah.
She's cool, man. Always like Dory. She's
Yeah,
awesome.
she is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. So nice. So let's keep it moving then. So you would graduate high school. Everything's cool there,
Mhm.
and I do want to say this before we keep moving. So as a kid, you played a little Squires football and stuff like this. But we talked about this previously on a weekend pop-in, is that your daughter does Squires cheerleading now.
Yep.
And Squires is just for all our international listeners, which we do have a bunch. Squires football is just our local Pee Wee football, Pop Warner football, and one of the local ones. The it's not as good as Cannoneers, but it is what it is. And
right, it's like the second rate, like
yeah,
it's like
it's the minor
B,
league
the
Pee Wee
minor
team.
league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the minor league Pee
Okay.
Wee football team. And but Liam there, he got an award this year for like the assistant of the year, right? What was the award?
Well, it was for of all the parents that one parent wins an award for like volunteer of the year.
Yeah.
So basically, like you're helping out, like like you're helping out with like the snack stand when they have like merch and stuff. You just with the chains, with the whatever, like basically whatever they need help with. I always wanted to stay after her game was over, because I remember when I was a kid that those days were fucking awesome. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like you would have a
Yeah.
game, your game would end, and then you just
You
hung
just
out
hang
the
out.
rest of the day
Yeah.
at the field. There'd be games going on the side.
Yeah.
Everybody's there.
You're playing,
watching
you're
games
playing pickup football with everybody else that
Yeah.
had to stay. And if it's muddy, it's fucking awesome. And
you're
Yeah.
hitting the snack stand.
Yeah.
Like it's just, I remember we would like spend the day there, and it's just awesome. And I think I think as a parent, like that it's like probably the most, other than like education obviously is number one, but number two is like they have to have something other than school. Like there
Yes.
has to be extracurriculars. I
Yeah.
don't care if she does sports or music, or she wants to do like theater or choir or art. Like it
Whatever.
doesn't matter to me what it is, but like that's where for myself, and I think a lot of kids, where it all goes wrong. Like you get into high school and you get mixed up in like just trying to be cool or partying
Yeah.
or drinking, and like you stop playing sports, or you stop doing this, or you stop doing that. And you know what I mean? Then you're just coming home from school every day, you're dropping your books and getting into trouble. But if
Yeah.
she has something like cheer or gymnastics, or like I said, it doesn't matter what it is. If you have something to like focus your energy on, then I think kids in general will not get in as much trouble as they would without it.
I agree. And I hope the trend continues now, especially when like our kids are getting older, where dude, when we were coming up, right? Like being a good athlete was cool, but being a good athlete, but also being a partier was the fucking coolest, right? Like partying was the shit. Everyone wanted to be a partier. But then I think that kind of like changed. And now like the straight arrow doing the, like the super athlete with the great diet and the physique and the Instagram thirst, quenching pictures or whatever the fuck. Like that's what it is now. And I don't I don't want the thirst quenching shit, but I think like the clean living, like I doubt they still have Max stick day at school. You know what I mean? Like that shit's all got to be gone. Like dude, legit, Tom, there, like when we were in school, legit, we drank either a soda, a Huggy, a Mondo, or a Capri Sun every day.
Okay, so hold on a second. Because like the diabetes and like the stuff with soda being terrible for you and all that stuff is like come out and like, hey, this is not a good thing. We shouldn't be giving our kids, you know, whatever soda every single day on like drinking a 12-pack. You think that clean living and like that is like the cool thing at school now? You think more cool than partying?
Isn't it?
It's more cool than
No,
Xanax.
you idiot. Are you kidding me?
You're telling
You go
me,
to a high school.
Dude,
you go
you
to high
can
school and you
vape
say,
now.
hey,
Like-
is
like-
partying is hey guys, do any of you like to party at all or like have fun or go party? No, you're right. You're all eating celery, reading your books.
okay, but if we look at like the most popular person in that school, it's probably the fucking Instagram model that works out all the time, that
and
like
does cocaine on the side.
probably has an Adderall. Probably has. They all have Adderall
They
prescriptions.
all have Adderall.
That's
Somebody's got a vape pen.
Vyvanse, right? Like they're all doing
They all
that.
smoke weed. It's fucking like legal, basically.
Trees I can live with. I can live with trees. But
I'm still gonna get pissed off at it.
drugs always wins. Drugs always wins the
Drugs
battle.
dominates the war.
Yeah.
on
I'm
drugs.
not saying. I
Justin,
mean,
I
there's
was
going to
gonna
be
say.
different cliques, but no doubt, dude. There's still like the people that are chugging beers and like getting wasted and like
I don't think it
having
was-
their parties and
But
whatever.
I don't think it is
No.
big as it was when we were coming up, though. I don't think it's as big.
Why not?
I don't know. I mean, it depends on the area and depends on the school. Like I've heard some stories where like I know my cousins who are like 10, they might even be like 15 years younger than me. They went to Quakertown. They're like, everyone does opiates at school. It's like,
It's
it's just
Oxycontin County out there.
Wildly rampant.
Yeah, but that doesn't sound like fun. That sounds like everyone has an addiction that just is
Yeah.
fucking suffering, you know, and they're all dope sick every day, you know. Like it sounds fun for a little bit.
Well, yeah, it starts, you know, that's where
it starts fun, but then it
The
gets
first
really
year
ugly.
is fucking great.
Yeah, it's a
Oh,
party.
yeah. First 5 months is the best time of your life. You'll never be more confident. But all right,
You
so
know,
either
drugs
way,
are dope.
drugs,
Moving on.
dude, I'm not saying drugs aren't still kicking ass, right?
Yeah.
Drugs are obviously killing the game. I'm just saying that like the clean lifestyle, I think, has gotten way more popular than it was when we were there. Do you agree?
Oh, like healthy eating is like
Just
more.
the clean lifestyle. in
I eat a
general, like,
roast beef sandwich
working
every
out-
day with an apple juice.
working out more, right? Clean living, like, you know, all that kind of stuff. Like, I think that's way more trendy than we didn't even know it fucking really existed back when we were coming up.
What, working out? We worked out every day.
We worked out, but we were still eating hoagies all the time and drinking soda and fucking power whatever's, you know, like I'm just saying, like all that stuff we didn't have available, but now it's like the cool thing to do. Like you want to do that stuff. You know what I mean? Like back then I was like, I don't want to eat fucking salad. I want pizza. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So
they
You
didn't have
don't think
kale when
you
we
don't
were
think high
kids.
school kids are still like, I want Wendy's and I'm gonna eat pizza.
yeah, there
Yeah,
are
did you-
some like that, but I think
A
that
lot, majority.
I would, but I'm saying it's cool, right? It wasn't cool when we were coming up to fucking
What do you mean?
to eat clean and work out and be on Instagram doing all this shit, right?
There was no Instagram. when we were growing
Exactly.
up.
We didn't have that available. That's what I'm
Okay,
saying.
it was
So it's a
cool
lot
to do that
cooler
on
now.
AIM. What are
No
you
one was a
talking about?
vegan when we went to high school.
There
Yeah.
was
Sure they have a vegan
vegetarians at
option.
school. I remember vegetarians.
It was like 4 out of
Right.
1,400.
Yeah, there's probably 4 vegans at fucking high school.
Nah,
too.
that's probably like
There's probably a
30%
lot
now.
more
And by the
because
way, they were
we had-
fake vegetarians then, and they're
Well, no,
fake vegans now. if
We
they
had
are.
a lot of vegetarians because we had a lot of Indian kids at our school. And they're
My daughter
vegetarians.
is a fake vegetarian right now, by the way.
Yeah.
She like will say that she's a
because
vegetarian.
it's the cool thing
but
to
then-
do.
Yeah,
Wow.
but then
How
she'll
old
be
is
like,
she? How old is she?
7.
Yeah.
And she'll
Yeah,
be like, I'm
she's
a
influenced by the
vegetarian.
older kids.
And then like, you know, like my sister, when we visited, made like chili, but she'll like eat that. She'll be like, well, not for today. I like to just be like a vegetarian on like
Just because there's
some
been
days, you know?
an awakening kind of in what like is healthy as far as what you eat does not mean that kids in high school still aren't having parties or like they don't have their people. Like there's fuck ups in high school just like we were fuck ups in high school today.
right. And
now.
I never said that there wasn't, right? I'm
You think
just
there's
saying
less fuck ups now.
yes.
When you guys fight, you make me feel like it's my fault.
It is your fucking fault, Liam.
Damn it, Liam.
All right. So let's.
That's the
keep it-
stupidest thing I ever heard. Like, are you kidding me? No way. These kids are partying.
Yeah, there is partying, but it's
If you
not
watch
like,
Euphoria, there's so much more drugs in high school.
Yeah.
That show is so ridiculous. Like, there's none of that. Like, who's in charge of this school? Sorry,
Yeah. That's
it's
high
complete
school these
nonsense.
days.
I've never seen it.
Oh, it's
But
wild.
I bet
what's
they
going on
all.
in
I
that
bet they
school.
all eat healthy.
It's on my list.
They don't eat. They
Yeah,
don't
everyone has a six pack. There's no way everyone
Look at
has to
that.
be so healthy.
eat. Dude,
Yeah.
I had an 8-pack in high school. I
Right,
didn't
but
eat
good for you. You
healthy.
wrestled.
You didn't eat
You
anything.
didn't eat healthy. Yeah, you did
I did
tobacco and
too
ran
eat
in
a
trash
lot.
bags.
Yeah, but that was like, that was, a certain time of the year where I had to like cut. Like I still like at that point I could eat whatever the fuck I wanted and still be, they're young and they're in high school. They're gonna be shredded, The kids-
My only experience from you in high school was I was standing there and I
Oh,
always thought
sorry.
like I had like a completely different like idea in my head, like how you were. Like you're like mellow and like calm and stuff, but you like beat up a friend of mine's brother like in the lunchroom, and
Oh.
it like happened like that.
Quasi?
So I'm like, oh, that guy's kind of I was like, oh, that guy's kind of kind of wild. And then you were cool after that. But that was like the only time I ever like saw
You were
in
there?
high school ever. Yeah.
Dude, I got a standing ovation when I left that cafeteria that day.
Like,
And you know who was involved in that? You know who gave me who got everyone like standing out?
who Joey Rad?
Fucking Cabot.
yeah. Cabot was there.
I'm leaving. He gives me like the biggest like, yeah, boy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm getting escorted out by security. Next thing you know, I'm in the principal's office and I see Cabot's fucking head like ducking in, like, yo, kid, you fucking alone. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, Cabot, I'm getting suspended. Leave me alone.
There's
Dude.
nobody in the world more proud of you when you do bad shit than Cabot.
Yo,
Yeah.
he's the ultimate hype man. For
Like
doing
see
bad
you in the
shit.
hallway
Yeah.
outside of Mr. McNerney's
Yeah.
classroom, be like, "What do you do, yo?"
Yeah.
That was my only exposure to Tom, except for until I met him at your house, Lavelle, at like some Christmas party or something.
Oh, at
That was like
Markle
the only
Street.
time I saw him ever
Wow.
was when he did that.
Markle Street, baby. That was the time. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that
Wasn't-
kid came up to me.
Well,
Yeah.
also he
Pushing
was,
me.
but he was picking on.
He was picking on handicapped kids like
Yeah.
a couple days before, and I was like, man, this guy's a jerk off. And so then I started like saying stuff about him, and then he's like, yo, I heard you talking shit. Whatever. It's so stupid. I wasn't even supposed to be in that cafeteria. That's how much I was fucking up. I was supposed to be gone.
Yeah.
So that's where I
Yeah.
got in trouble because I wasn't even supposed to be there, but my friends were there, and I wasn't. My senior project, I had work study, so I left. But I was like, I'm not going. And so then I was like sitting in the cafeteria talking, and then this kid came up, and that's like kind of what we were talking about earlier when they say like, oh, these kids are gonna fight after school. They're gonna go fight after
Mhm.
school. I wasn't waiting. Like if I was going to fight somebody, if I'm going to fight somebody, I'm going. You know what I mean? Like there's not
Yeah.
like I'll see you in 10 hours, over here, no,
Yeah.
no, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Because
Get
I'll
it over
be
with.
like, whatever at that point.
Yeah. Get it
Tired
over
by
with.
then.
So I want to get into some work history then. So
By the way, high school kids are partying like crazy right now.
yeah, sure. They are. I never said they weren't. I'm just saying clean living is cooler than it was when we were coming up.
They're
Yes.
not really clean living. It's a fake clean living.
Jesus fucking, let's move on. So the kids, we weren't clean living back then, but the kids are now. And
I
let's get,
certainly
into
wasn't.
some, let's get into some work history. So Liam, your first job ever working at Clemens Markets. So shout out Clemens Markets. I was on their
Yeah.
baseball team.
Oh my God, they sold all those vegetables there that we ate when we were younger.
They don't
Oh,
exist
God, dude.
anymore.
I'm sure they sell. I mean, if they would have kept the vegetable trend going, they'd probably still be in business because how popular vegetables are now. But either way,
I bet you pizzas never sold more. And there's more pizza sold today than there's ever been, I'm sure.
vegan pizza.
Vegan pizza.
So yeah, vegan, carb-free, paleo, keto pizza. So either way, let's
I know
keep
I know
Yeah.
an heir to the Clemens throne, I guess.
Oh,
And kid never has to work a day in his life.
Because Clemens just does like uniforms now, right?
They
they
still
have
do their
markets
flower
still?
shops too. They used to do
Oh.
flower shops as well. I think they have like one or two. They're not many, but they still have their flower shops and whatever that other one.
wait.
Harrison
So
and
Clemens
Clemens,
Market's still around?
No, I mean not the grocery store.
Oh,
Yeah. Okay.
all right. Good for them.
But
So,
when they sold for a shitload.
oh, yeah, nice. So, Liam here was working at Clemens Market, and jdub, this will tickle your heartstrings. He was wrangling the silver buffalo.
Yeah,
That's right.
Concrete cowboy.
I was in the cart business. Yeah.
Oh,
Hell yeah.
You and Bubs.
I used to
Yeah.
wrestle the old silver buffalo. It was a good job, yo. I loved it.
Yeah.
Do you guys
Shout
watch
out
the,
to D-Bill. Didn't D-Bill work there too?
There's a great. I remember D-Bill's last day there.
Yeah,
What
okay.
happened?
So we were having a party, and Dave's like, "I'll get us a bunch of snacks, and then I'll come
So
over
much
after
partying
work."
happened back then.
And he like put all these, pre-bagged paper and plastic bags at the back door. And I guess like the last one he was bringing out, like someone saw him. So, and we were like walking up to get the bags, and like this interaction happened. Dave just grabbed like 3 of them and just took off running. And then like he left, and he came with us. We got hammered, and like we woke up the next day, and I was like, I guess you're like fired from Clemens. He's like, oh, I can never go back. I just won't pick up my phone, and I'll just never go back.
What did he steal from there?
We got like chips and soda and like a mixer and like D-Bill got like a cake and some lunch meat, like a whole bunch of shit, and he was like setting it outside the back door for us to like come grab, take to the house, and he was going to show up after work.
Yeah.
But like somebody spotted him when he was like taking the
I
bag
see.
out. He just
And
grabbed
he
his
got
bag.
away.
all right.
He got away with a lot more than Trav. Trav took like a fucking gummy worm. You remember when they used to have like the candies with like the scoops?
Yeah.
Trav took a fucking gummy worm and got shit canned for that for like
Oh
a
my
1 cent
God.
candy.
Oh my God. That's brutal.
D-Bill used to
Brutal.
also murder the whippets. He would just eat
Oh,
1,000 of them.
oh,
Oh my god.
dude, that stuff legit makes you fucking stupid. That
It
stuff.
eats brain cells.
Oh, that stuff, like doing that shit, you're fucking dumb. Like
You're
you're
depleting
legit
oxygen
fucking
to your brain.
Stupid. Yeah.
I knew a kid who got a tank, and I knew him before he got that tank and after he got that tank, and he was noticeably dumber forever. Like he's just dumb now.
Oh, dude. I mean, I can't imagine the fucking shit that does to you. So, all right.
you guys ever see the cart, the grocery cart, like Karma guy or whatever?
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
Cart
Narcs.
Cart
That's my guy.
That's it. I love cart narcs. Dude.
What is
Hell
cart
yeah.
narcs?
So he finds people that don't put their grocery carts back, and he like puts a bumper sticker on their car, and they freak the fuck out.
Which
Like, they
you
lose
are
their
a
shit.
scumbag if you don't
Yeah.
put your cart back. So
Even
he's
in
in
the
the
stall,
right.
just in the stall, and he's
Yep.
right.
Yeah.
Did you?
Wait, what do you? Oh, they leave it like in the middle of the lot.
Middle of the shopping.
Dude,
Did
center.
if
anybody
he
else-
fucking came to down here, he'd be fucking out of bumper stickers. The fucking
Yeah,
Target by
right.
my house, is
Serious
just
animals.
fucking all over.
Oh, there's nothing more I wish death upon people for. The people who leave their cart just in a spot. But did anybody else ever pull in carts? Did you ever find a purse in the carts, Liam, when you were pushing carts?
Purse?
Yeah.
when you were
Nah.
wrangling the silver buffalo.
It happened to me twice. And the first
Ooh.
time I was young, I was a scumbag, and I took all them. There was like $200 and something in there, and I took it all out. And then I saw this lady like pull back in. She's like, "Did you see a purse?" I was like, "Oh, there was one like in the bottom of a cart over here. I was just about to go get it. I saw it, and I gave it back to her." And then the second one, when I was a little older, there was like $16 in the purse, and I like thought about taking it. And I didn't. I brought it inside the store. And then this like frantic woman came in and was like, "Oh, thank God." I was like, I'm so glad I didn't steal that woman's $16.
Bro, dude,
Because I thought about it. But I didn't.
that's the worst fucking thing ever. Like
You know
losing
what?
your wallet.
They wouldn't
or
have
your
cared about
purse.
the $16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
everyone was
Yeah,
happy
got all their
about
shit
just
back.
getting their shit
Yeah,
back.
Yeah.
not having to go to the DMV, or if you have like your credit cards and all that. Oh my God, fucking
Mhm.
nightmare.
Honestly, if all the money's there, they should tip you out. To be honest,
yeah, agreed.
you know what I mean.
Agreed.
If you had like, say
Agreed.
you had $150 in your purse
Mhm.
Yeah.
or wallet, whatever, and you lose it, and someone finds it. I mean, that should at least be a $20 tip.
easy,
Hell
You
yeah.
know,
hell
Hell
yeah.
yeah.
50%.
because all your shit, like you think about it, like if you were to think about maybe what would you pay to have
Your
wallet
ID is
back?
a nightmare to get back.
Yeah.
Just your
Yeah.
your ID alone, I would pay $100 for to not have
Yeah.
to get a new ID. I don't even know how to do it, and I don't want to look up how to do it.
Ugh,
Go to the
Brutal.
DMV.
it's brutal. So
Yeah.
yeah. It's fucking. It's
Sounds like a nightmare. Where's the DMV?
I witnessed it recently. It's a fucking
Norristown?
nightmare. Credit cards too. So let's keep it moving. All right. So you left. You left Clemens Marquette's, and then you would go to the pharmacy, right? You would work at the pharmacy for a little bit, and then after you left the pharmacy. And this is the infamous North Wales pharmacy that we've brought up before on the NDub saga part 1, part 2, and part 3, which are all available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work Expects Podcast. But the North Wales pharmacy was kind of like a pick'em, just pick and run.
Sure it was.
If you were hungry, just walk through, grab a snack, and head on out, and no one gave a shit.
I can't imagine what they're like. I lived there. Like, if I was hungry, I just went there and I bought like one thing and walked out with 9.
No,
it got so bad. Sorry, God.
No Butterfingers though.
I mean, no vegetables either, because he wasn't living clean back then. That's for sure.
It got so bad to the point where like people were going there, and it didn't even matter if I was working there anymore. Like even if I wasn't at the front register, like if it was like somebody else, like someone on another shift, they would just distract that dude and still fucking take the place for everything they had. So
yeah, they would only. Yeah, I mean, I was going there since I was like a real young kid because I lived across the street. They had 2 checkout counters, but sometimes would only have one person in the store. So me and my brother would walk in, and he would grab something to buy and go to that checkout counter in the far corner, and then you just had free reign for 4 minutes to grab whatever you can and walk out the back door. And you got like Oreos and pudding snacks and
and you just like, because their biggest thing was there was 2 exits, 2 entrances, 2 exits. So like, and they had shit by the back door, right? Like on the way out, right?
Unreal.
So like that just must have been like shit they were getting rid of, right? Like, all right, well,
expired.
But dude, I mean, I don't know. I had only been there a handful of times, and I just remember being like, wow, you could just do whatever you wanted here, So yeah, either way. So you worked there. So then let's keep it moving. So then after you left there,
I ate Rice Krispie treats like a fucking fiend back in the day and had a fucking 6-pack. You know what I'm saying? Like kids nowadays, they can say they're clean living, but they fucking they're gonna be shredded no matter what. Once they get to like the 30s, then it's like, okay, things are going to be a little bit
remember
different.
Remember the pharmacy had that outside storage like door closet thing up at the top of the ramp. So one day when I was a kid, I used to always walk by there, and just like there was a elevated curb that you could walk along and then jump down and walk into the pharmacy. And I would pull that doorknob just for shits and giggles. One day, I was probably 8. The door fucking opened, and what they kept in there was literally the unopened, like full boxes of Snickers, Reese's, like their extra inventory was in there. And I was alone in a room. I got the full thing of the Snickers, like unopened box. You know what I mean? So like a full 16 bars. I grabbed that, and I grabbed the full. It was like the
5 Butterfingers boxes.
And the full like 20-ounce soda is like racked, like, and the plastic too. And I just put the Snickers on top. I grabbed the soda, and I just, because my house was 100 yards away. And I just like ran it home and like just threw it in my.
Dude, that was the best 3 days of your life. Oh my!
And for the rest of my life, every day I would pull on that doorknob. Like one day it'll be open again.
Yeah. That's their fucking fault, man.
The dream. That's their fault.
You know what I mean? Like I was just
no cameras either. Nothing. Right?
Yeah, this tighten up.
Dude,
this is 1994, and I'm just alone in a room with everything. I was just, oh my God.
But it was honestly, it was different.
Same for us, guys that would kill somebody for not putting a shopping cart back.
I've grown.
Yeah, dude.
Tighten up that shopping cart situation.
Yeah, it was different for us though. Like Juliana's was our neighborhood spot, and you weren't allowed to steal from there. Like you just didn't do it. It was like if
it's mom and pop, like the pharmacy was like,
it was mom and pop, bro.
I know, it was like it was faceless.
The name of the place was Mom and Pop's.
Yeah. So nice. So okay, so you leave the pharmacy.
I just never thought to steal from him. I'm probably too scared to get caught.
I didn't want to. I wouldn't. I'd feel bad because that place, they were like, dude, I remember like being short on money as a kid, and like, you know, like the dude behind you would throw a quarter up for you or whatever. And they'd be like, well, now what do you say to the nice man? You're like, thank you, sir. And like, you can get your Swedish fish and Butterfingers and be on your way. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, that's just, I don't know. And they were always like if you were like 5 cents short, they're like, just whatever, go. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. They were always just good to like the kids, I think. And
How often were you short money at Juliana's?
dude, like if some, like I remember having like $1. I remember one time. So shout out Andrew Giuliano. Fucking woo! That was a rocket, baby. But Andrea Giuliano was she worked there. And I remember I in the summer, like I'm wearing mesh shorts and they didn't always have pockets. So where do you keep your money? In your sock. In your fucking sock, right? And I remember I went to pay one time and I pulled the money out of my sock and she was like, was that just in your fucking sock? And it wasn't, you know, it was a hot day. You know what I mean? And she was not fucking happy. So yeah.
No
but dude,
fucking
there were
thanks.
times like I remember like I would get like a soda and it says 99 cents, but then it's $1.05. And I'm like, oh fuck, I don't have 5 cents. And they're like, whatever, just keep it moving. Kid, take your A treat Big Blue and fucking hit the bricks. Big Blue, shout out, fan of the show. Listen,
I would just get the half gallons of
Rosies. The Rosies, $1.29. Oh my god.
Do you remember
Rosies.
Zena's Bakery, Liam?
Yeah, I do.
They there used to be a full service bakery, like you go in and buy single donuts and shit, and it was literally 25 feet from my house. And they went to catering eventually. No longer like you could walk in and just buy a single item. But I've refused to acknowledge that and would come in, and there was the old man still worked there, and he'd be like, no, and the Zena, the actual daughter, is like, she would still sell me single items and stuff, and he would get upset for every day for like 2 years. Like he'd be like, I don't do this anymore, and I'd be like, you're selling me a goddamn donut, old man.
Were they good?
Oh, they were awesome, but I would come in with like 18, you know what I mean? Like I was a kid, I come in with like 18 cents, 34 cents, 65. I'd be like, what do I get with this? And they'd be like, not here. And
they're
just
like,
leave.
here's a donut hole. Now fuck off. Yeah. Nice. Dude, that's great. I would like, I discovered.
Place is still there?
Yeah. No, it's not anymore.
Nah, Zena's been gone.
Yeah.
I remember there's a
Probably
place.
because everyone's clean living now, you know?
Yeah.
No room for
Bakeries are
donuts,
going
guys.
out of style.
Kids don't eat donuts
you know?
anymore.
Yeah. Dude, there's a bakery near me that I just discovered. It's called like Lipson's Bakery, I think. But it's pretty fucking good. And yeah, a good bakery, like a legit bakery, it's a good fucking time, let me tell you. So
smells wonderful.
Oh my god, forget about it. But they do these things, arugula, like the arugula gimmicks, right? Like all the rugulas I would get were like always like hard and like dry.
Arugula?
No, arugula. It's like a it's like a pastry that's like twisted up, and there's like
that's him tricking you
filling.
that he's clean living. I mean,
You know?
arugula.
Yeah. It's a bakery. They sell arugula.
Sell arugula, you know. Arugula.
But they make these rugulas that have
Peppery
like
lettuce.
oh, they have like it. They're just fucking like soft and warm. It's just they're fucking incredible. But either way, so let's keep moving. So you graduate high school, you'd be done at the pharmacy, and then this is where you would start. And I think maybe Justin, you didn't do this, but I know me and Tom did this. You did the restaurant life, right? You jumped right into it head first. And that's a common thing for kids out of high school and stuff like that. And honestly, man, I lived the restaurant life for a while, really dug my heels into it. And dude, you make good fucking money, man. You can make good fucking money some places, but you were back of the house, right, Lasmeesh?
For some of the jobs. When I worked at William Penn Inn, I was usually back of the house, but when I worked at William Penn Inn, I was what they called an expediter there. And at William Penn Inn, an expo wasn't the same thing as probably what you're thinking. So an expo just sits there, you wait at the line, and like the William Penn Inn, like the chefs and everything, they put everything together, they make the plates up, then they put them up in the window, and then you got to stack them on these trays, and you put you got to put the metal lids on and stack them up like as high as you can carry, and then carry them out. And then you have to make up the sides too. Like they would say which vegetable they want. You usually had a choice of potatoes, and you would just stacks and stacks of plates and fucking metal lids. You put it up on your shoulder, and they had 3 different dining rooms. One was upstairs, One was they called the tavern, and one was the Monet, was the main dining room. And that place, when I worked there, was fucking bumping all the time.
Yeah.
And you would just carry out tray after tray after tray. You would put them down, and then the server would pass out like the entrees and everything. So all I had to do was like wait for them to make the food. I'd stack it up on a tray, put it like you have to put it in order and everything, obviously. And then you just carry them out, drop it down. You'd have to do the same thing with like their salads, same thing with their desserts. So you get like a printout of the order and you just kind of drop it off. That job paid fucking awesome because you get like you get like an hourly wage, and then all the servers and bartenders and basically anybody that had to serve food had to tip you out at the end of the night.
Nice.
Like, so you get like, depending on where you went to, like upstairs was a bitch. You'd have to carry all that stuff upstairs. So they'd have to charge you like, they'd have to pay you like 50 cents a head on that. They'd have to pay you, you know, a quarter on the Monet and whatever it was on the tavern. Dude. So if it was bumping, you did like plate after plate after plate. So you're trying to take them out. You know what I mean? You want to take out as many as you can.
Dude, so like when you're there, then are you interacting with the customer? Like you're just interacting as in dropping off the food. You're not taking orders or refills.
That's the best part.
Yeah, you're just dropping and going. They want to see you. You know what I'm saying? Like they want you there. So nice. So you're really not doing anything else. That does sound
you don't
like
have to deal with them.
Money job.
Nope.
That
was the best of all like the restaurant jobs. Yeah, that one was probably the best. Other than
drop any?
I'm sure. Oh hell yeah, absolutely. You gotta carry them upstairs because sometimes you get like, you know, I think the most you could carry was like 16 because you do 4 and 4, and then but you'd have to carry the sides. Dude, came on a smaller plate.
Wrist and forearms must have been killing you.
Well, you kind of like rest it on your shoulder, hold it with your hand. But like, you know, you'd carry it upstairs and you know how it is. Like one would slide off the back and everything or something like that. Yeah. I don't think I've ever dropped like a full, you know what I mean? Like full tray and just dropped like a whole thing. But many a times, you know what I mean? You come around a corner or you bump like a doorway or something and just like one comes off the top. Then you got to go back with like your tail between the legs. Be like, yo, dude, I need like a whole like, and they would be so
fucking well done steak on the fly.
Yeah, that was the worst.
How was the cooks there? Were they like legit cooks or were they fucking
yeah, they were
pros
there. Yeah,
dude, I'll tell you, I was at they do an incredible fucking brunch, brunch. And I was there not too long ago. Oh my God, the fucking brunch. Woo. Jada, you were there recently too, right?
Yeah, I went for dinner not too long ago. Love the William Pennon.
Oh man,
it was like when I was a kid, because it's also in like close to where I grew up. It was like the fanciest restaurant in the world.
Yeah,
until I left North Wales, I was like, this is the most beautiful place I've ever been.
Yeah, it's still, dude, still one of the most fanciest restaurants I've ever been to. You know,
that place is still legit.
Yeah, really, really good. So nice. So you're working there. What else did you do as far as restaurants?
Man, I was at place called Cravings. I jumped back and forth. Yeah, I went to so I would go back and forth between like I would work with Bo and Chaz's dad. He owns Ziegler Electric. So I do like I'd work with him doing residential electric work, but I would bounce back and forth between like Primo Hoagies, Boston style pizza. I worked at a place called the Hungry Bear in Fort Washington. I worked at Normandy Farms. Like where they do like the weddings and stuff. And they have a restaurant there too, and they do like brunches and stuff.
Yeah, I remember we would have my office parties we had at Normandy Farms a couple times. It's not a bad spot. Yeah. And then so you're working there and you're doing your thing. So nice. And like you would always be back at the house though. Is like because I remember I do remember this one time at Cravings. I was seeing someone that you were working with at Cravings, and we were there one night, and I remember my mom had asked me to get her some food, and you guys were like closing up the kitchen, and I was like, Liam, hey man, like my mom asked me, could I put this in? I know it's late. And you said, because it's for your mom, I'll do it. So shout out, you know what I'm saying? You kind of got her back with that. So, and it was just like a sandwich or something. It wasn't anything crazy. But apparently the dude there was pretty cool. The guy that did Cravings, right? Like, was he an all right guy? from what I didn't know him, but like I remember people talking about him saying he was an all right guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yes. Yeah. He was cool. I don't have anything bad to say about him.
Nice. And then so you would sometimes, because I remember you telling me this too. You're even younger. You were working with Ziegler Electrical, and you're doing the electrician stuff there. And like, I remember you telling me like you're the ditch digging guy on the job. And I remember you saying like, dude, the Masons, they'll fucking crush your skull with one hand. Those guys.
Yeah,
are
they
so
will.
Fucking...
They will. Like the Masons and bricklayers and shit, dude. Those guys are no fucking joke, man.
Oh my God. That's a fucking rough job. Fucking A, man. Fucking A. So yeah, man. So nice. So okay. So you're doing that. What did you kind of have a place that you would land that was like your spot, or how did it go? Were you bouncing around a lot? Tell me how it went.
Yeah, I mean, I would stay somewhere, but not for too long. Because at that point, I mean, I wasn't really like taking care of myself. I wasn't really, you know what I mean? I was like going out a lot, just like living for the weekend and everything, you know? So that's why I was bouncing back and forth. Like I would work with Ziegler, and that was like, you know what I mean? Like I wanted to do that job, but at that time I just like didn't have the focus. Like I didn't take anything seriously, you know?
Yeah.
And it's like, I would just fall back to like back of the house. Cause like for me personally, there's cooks. I don't like, this is no disrespect on anybody, because there's cooks that are like fucking awesome. They have passion. They're great at what they do and everything. But for me, it was like an easy place to just fall back to, like low responsibility. And if I lose the job, no fucking big deal. I'll just run to another restaurant, you know?
Yeah. Everyone's always hiring cooks.
Yeah. I would never move up. Like I'd never try to like be a manager or you know what I mean? I was just kind of coasting at that point.
Yeah. Living to party and dude, I'll tell you, me too, man. Like I would go through that phase of like you're working, you're living, but it's just like, you're partying and just like, I mean, I don't know. There were certain things that like would help you with confidence too, with like hanging with girls and all that. Like you wanted that, it's just like partying was so much cooler back then, and that's just all you wanted to do. And I mean, I know for me, and I know for a lot of people too, like healthy living wasn't an option, and it was party.
Not like it is now.
So cool.
Now
Not like
it's
it
an
is
option,
now.
and you know that's all you do is you eat arugulas, right?
Yeah, I'm a big arugula. So nice. So
wait, so at this point you're like, so Liam, are you married now?
I am not.
You have a daughter?
I do.
Are you with we don't have to put this on.
So no, we're gonna get to that. Just don't jump ahead. So that'll come later.
Well, I'm just saying, like, at what point are we meeting? Where
not
we at
quite
now?
yet.
Yeah.
Okay. Right now I'm just a single dude. I'm out there. You know what I mean? I'm just bouncing around, like
not
walking the road. A friend of man. You know what I mean? Like
yeah. You're getting in some trouble. You're doing your thing. You're partying, and like you're slowly deteriorating.
You're a young bachelor,
essentially. Yeah.
And so you're doing your stuff, and like you're working, and like you're going back and forth between the restaurant stuff, and eventually, man, that stuff, like, it's a young man's game, dude. It takes its fucking toll on you, and it's it is tough, dude. That's a tough job. People don't realize that is a fucking, like, I do hate that, like, servers and bartenders and cooks and all that, and bussers, right? Like, they do not get the respect they deserve as far as a vocation goes. And it is a tough fucking job. And you got to eat a lot of shit for people that are fucking pieces of shit, man. And it's just like, it fucking sucks sometimes. It really does. But go ahead.
I honestly, I think, like, I usually bring this up, like, wouldn't you agree that, like, if you knew when you went out, like, there's no way to guarantee this, but wouldn't you pay like an extra $10 every time you went out if you just knew the people in the back were making a fucking honest living? Like, because it's a crime what they pay fucking like cooks and shit and like dishwashers and like, but the owners, most of them would just keep that money for themselves. But I just mean, like, I just wish there was a way for it to like be fair.
Are we talking about a family business here? Are we talking about the Applebee's?
Just everything in general. Like, if you have to work that job, it's not.
There's not a lot of profit in food. So, I mean.
Yeah, I know. It's tough, man. You're right. There is no easy
Plus, you got people that
answer.
are working there that are just like, whatever,
I know.
That's fully.
But I think what Liam's saying is that if you made it more of a reputable profession, then like the caliber of people you would get would be higher, and those people would deserve the extra pay, and because they'd be going the extra mile. Like if they took it super serious, right, Liam? Right?
They
Is
have
that kind
places
of
like that.
yeah,
They
but it's
do,
few
like
and far
fine
between.
dining, you make more. You're right. It's just like, I don't know. I guess I'm kind of just speaking. It's something that's like, it's kind of, that's a hard thing.
I know
It's
So
a
is
lot
he
of
paid
customer
more?
service. It's a lot of dealing with people. It's like
Oh.
it's a whole bunch of shit. You got to be good at a whole bunch of things to be able to do that, because you got to
Every-
deal with
yeah.
people
Yeah.
and like bust your ass in certain moments, and then
Yeah.
deal with people in that moment. And you're like, I'm carrying 16 plates. You want me to get you a fork? Oh, okay, hold on.
Yeah. And it's like
Yeah.
the worst
I'll
hours
stab
for
you.
like the
Yeah.
least amount of money.
Yeah.
You make
It's just tough.
$265 an hour.
And it's
Mhm.
not, nothing's guaranteed. And also you
Talking
don't
about
get
servers or cooks.
there's no PTO, but cooks are guaranteed, but for servers too, like dude, you got to eat a lot of shit, and and people are just rude. Like Grams, you're kind of lucky because you can tell people at Grams to go fuck off, and they, you know what I
Well,
mean?
bar is different than a restaurant. Yeah.
True,
Well,
but
Tom,
like,
yeah, you're a bartender, right?
yeah. And
Well, yeah,
bartenders do
bartending
have
is
more
like-
of a that's more of a profession like people take seriously, I think.
Yeah, that's the job. Bartender, I mean, that's the highest paying job in restaurants, is it not?
In the service industry, I believe
Sure.
so.
Yeah.
You're right, and I think, but that, and it does have a reputation of like, dude, it's
Depends. I mean, if you're a chef, what I mean?
Yeah.
if you're fucking
So there's
Gordon
people who are
Ramsay.
like, yeah, people who are like naturally gifted, because there's people who are just like naturally gifted at like being like a chef and cook and everything. They're just like born good at it, shit. And you watch them, they excel, but they don't work at a regular place. You know what I mean? They work at like William Penn Inn or fucking someplace like upscale, or I don't know.
And I'm not trying, but like,
you're right. I don't know shit, actually. That is
I was
true.
gonna say, as far as a chef goes, I don't think you're born knowing it. You have to learn it. It's like
You're saying
years of
Tim
study.
the cook wasn't born to be a chef?
Tim
the cook?
That's what I'm talking about. How much are you gonna pay people like Tim the cook? If you
Jesus.
did
Nah,
Tim the
you-
cook?
dude, you're right.
I'd pay him not
I'll
to cook
admit,
my
I'm
fucking
talking
food.
out my ass.
Yeah.
I don't know shit about fucking
No, like, don't get me
the
wrong.
restaurant
Everyone,
industry and like.
I'd like to, I used to work at Wawa third shift when we first moved down to Manayunk. Third shift, so 11 to 7, was making $7.50 an hour,
Oh,
jeez.
taxed. You know what I mean? So that's like
you're making nothing.
and is for what
Peanuts.
Wawa's making. You know what I mean? You think about maybe they could pay, but then there's like a balance there. Like it's hard to say because the business has to stay open, and yeah, it was helping me pay the rent and whatever. I know it's not 7, it's like 15 an hour now or whatever it is, but
Still.
it's just like
You're right.
there's a balance there. If you can find, the key I guess would be is to find a quality worker that is looking to grow with the business and say, hey, look, if you had an owner that was saying, I want to help you get to your goal of what you want to make, what we want to make, let's try to work out a deal where you're making a certain amount and what you put into it, you're going to get out of it. That's what I mean would be the ideal situation in a kitchen or something like that, because they're not turning a ton of profit in the kitchen. But if you have a great kitchen and you sell alcohol, it'll bring people in, and then you can sell the alcohol, and you're getting that higher volume where you can make a profit, so then everyone's getting paid. So it's tough, but you got to have people like, and everyone gets tired of their fucking job. You know what I mean? And whatever job it is, you're like, oh fuck, I don't feel like doing this today.
Yeah, I would agree.
It's definitely a racket, dude. Like, I couldn't imagine being a restaurant. That's got to be like the toughest business there is. You're right. It's like the margins are so small.
No PTO either.
Yeah,
No PTO.
That's tough.
Stuff.
There's so much
PTO.
waste.
PTO is the best thing that's ever been invented.
Anytime I'd sit in a restaurant, I'd be like, how do you plan out how
Probably
much
get more of
food
it.
to buy? How do you know how many cheeseburgers? You know what I mean? Like, how do you know?
You price it by, you do it.
I know.
Well, it
I'm just-
usually
yeah, we don't have to get into that, but like, I'm just saying, like,
yeah. It's I'm
like,
I'm
that's
with you.
crazy.
Well,
So-
you got to be able to use everything. So then
Yeah.
if you get a bunch of hamburger meat, and it's
Yeah,
like,
you turn it
okay,
into chili, you
turn it into chili, or turn it into shepherd's pie, or whatever the hell it is
Yeah.
you want to turn it into,
Yeah.
and you make something else with it, a ragu or whatever.
Yeah.
Waste not, want not.
True. Very true.
That's where they make, and then they make all their own stuff in the kitchen. But whatever, we're getting into
yeah. So let's keep it moving then. So you would
fuck you, Leo.
you do a number of years working in restaurants and bouncing in between the electrical work with Ziegler's dad. And then eventually you would kind of have a come to Jesus meeting, right? And that's when you would kind of start down the road to where you're at now, right? You would, you did all your stuff and you're working in restaurants and you're back and forth with the electrical thing, and you kind of wanted something in like a technical aspect, like a trade kind of gimmick. So then you would graduate, like you eventually have your come to Jesus meeting, and you would start working at like a machine shop and trying to hone a trade, right? So how did you get in there? What was your daily stuff like, and how'd you like it?
So the way I got to the machine shop, the way I even ended up there was like the most important thing that's ever happened to me in my life is I ended up having a daughter.
Yeah.
And without getting too deep into it, because I think it's important to take the high road at a time like this.
Yeah.
Her mom's not in the picture. I've had full custody, full physical, full legal custody since she was 1 year old.
Yeah.
So,
and she's 7?
At that point, she's 7 now.
God bless you, man.
So at that point, I have some judge decided to give me full physical and full legal custody of a child.
That's what I've been
was
saying.
A good idea.
The judges are what is the problem with this country.
Yeah, dude. So I'm like, you know what I mean? Like I knew when she was born, I wanted to be better, but at that point, you know what I mean? Like I have full custody.
Who's helping you?
She's 1. My family was a huge help. Like my mother lives close. My aunt lives close. My brother was a big help. My sister has been a big help.
And they also wanted to see you succeed and kind of help you with your come to Jesus meeting as well.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
They wanted to see you start doing better and living a cleaner life. Right.
Yeah. So at that
everyone's
point,
doing these days.
Yeah.
So at that point, like Matt said, dude, nothing wrong with it. You work whatever job you have to work, but
yeah.
I'm working my ass off. I'm working too many hours,
what were you
enough.
Doing though at the machine shop?
No.
Okay.
I was at Primo Hoagies and I just wasn't making enough.
Okay.
Right.
And so then I'm like, okay, dude, like I drove by, they had the sign out front saying that, they were having like the job fair and everything. And I'm like, there's got to be a change. I got to get like benefits and everything. And like
PTO.
Because at that point, you know what I mean? Like Layla's on state funded insurance and everything. And I'm like, dude, you know what I mean? Like we're not doing this, like I'm not, I just,
you're not going to raise her that
I have to keep moving. Yeah. I just have to keep moving up like one way or another. So I went in there and like, there was a lot of people there and they did hire a lot of people. I waited all day. Like I got in, they gave me an interview and they're like, we don't think this job's a good fit for you, blah, blah, blah. They're like, but we do have another position that wasn't posted that we think you'd be a good fit for. So I'm like, oh, thank God. So they bring me there. And the job is a bitch, dude. It's like it's a big machine shop and they have all these CNC machines. And when after the CNC machines are done making whatever they make, they're like lathes and drill presses, all this stuff. All the metal shavings get collected into these bins and there's like cutting oil on the bins. So you have to collect all that stuff, dump them into drums and everything. Then you gotta haul them back to this machine. It's called a chip spinner. You dump it's aluminum, steel, brass. That's pretty much it. Aluminum, steel, brass. You dump them in the hopper. You drain the hopper. You put it in a spinner. This thing, you turn it on. The spinner does exactly what it sounds like. Spins the chips and it pulls all the oil off of the chips. And then you have dry aluminum. So you dump it out into another hopper, the dry hopper, and then you're just shoveling the aluminum, steel, whatever, and you're filling it up into bigger containers. And then you just use a tamper to tamp it down. And they're probably like, altogether, you fill them up, they're like 300, 400 pounds. Some of them are heavier. and you just pick them up. You put them on the hand truck. You pull them into you got an empty shipping container in the back, like a truck can take away, and you fill that up. When it's filled, you tell the manager or you tell your supervisor. He calls the scrapyard. They come pick it up. So I'm doing that for like weeks. After like 2 weeks, I'm just like laying on the couch, like every muscle is completely like destroyed.
And you have a young
doing for 8 hours, dude.
And you have a young kid at this time too, right? Like Layla's like, so you have a fucking infant that you're dealing with while you're fucking breaking your back, working fucking shucking aluminum, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so you're doing this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Go ahead.
But I'm making better money, whatever, it's worth it.
And you get your bennies and all that, right?
Yeah, exactly. So then the site electrician is looking he needs a helper, and he's looking through all the applications and everything. And he's like, do you have,
electrical,
you have experience with electrical, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, yeah, sure. He's like, all right. So he takes me back to the material, like where they keep all the material for everything. And he's like, go find me this. Go find me this. And he says, go find me like a Romex connector. Go find me an MC connector. Go find me a 3/4 set screw EMT connector. And then, you know what I mean? I bring him back like the stuff because I know what it all is. And then he's like, you got to be fucking kidding me, dude. You know what I mean? Because he's mad because he's been asking for help for all these weeks. And he knows I'm sitting up there just shoveling shit all day. He's like, you got to be good. So ever since then they call me in and they're like, all right, you're going with Dave from now on. You're going to be his helper. I'm like,
I love you, Dave. Dave, I love you.
Yeah, fuck yeah. Which Dave, I will say, shout out to Dave is right. Shout out Dave Benzak. Dude, I learned in the 2 years and change I worked for him, we started doing like CNC install and everything. And I was running conduit and we were running like black iron pipe and everything for forced air. We did some plumbing and we even rigged some of the machines too. And I learned more from him in 2.5 years than I've learned in my entire life. You know, like he put me on the track, like he put me where I needed to be. And like, long story short, I worked there for a little while.
What a dude. What a guy.
What a real
dude,
fucking
guy. Awesome.
Dude, I still talk to him. He's a good friend. We like make the joke that like I'm his son brother because he's only like a year or two older than me, but he's like my mentor. You know what I mean?
Hey.
So he's like, but you know, like he showed me all that stuff, dude. He got me in. He got me like better pay and everything. He just put me in like a good position where like now I have the experience. Now I can do the work and everything. Like I have all the tools and whatnot.
He just honestly, it sounds like dude, you were really in the dumps, right? And then like you had this come to Jesus with your daughter and you're like, I got to be better for her. You get full custody of her, if you know, physical and legal. And then you're trying to find a better job. You're legit shoveling shit for fucking months and you're breaking your back and you have a fucking toddler at home and you needed like, you know, I think this was like a thing, like you needed a break. You deserved a fucking break. So this guy coming in and like being this good to you and teaching you all this stuff and helping you get a bump and like, you know, like just helping you like, you know, improve your life and improve your station. Man, he was a fucking, you know, an angel sent to you when you needed him the most. You know what I mean? So the shout out to him. That's a great fucking thing. So you're there, you're really honing your craft. You're getting your stuff. Would you start going to HVAC school and stuff at this time too?
That was earlier. I took those classes where like I ran into like Bach and everything.
Okay.
That was when I was younger because like I was still dabbling in like you know, like residential work and everything. So I saw him like at the trade school and whatnot. But at that point, you know, I was just pretty much working there and trying to be, you know, the best dad that I could.
Yeah.
But like as I got to like my end there, like there started to just be like a lot of friction and a lot of clashing going on, like a lot of like stupid politics like inside the company. And like somebody in a position of power hired a family member and put them in a higher position like in our department, and it kind of leapfrogged somebody who leapfrogged like the guy I was just talking about who should have been the facility supervisor honestly already at that point. And they kind of like I mean, they kind of passed him over, and I really don't think they should have. And
Yeah.
you know, so like then, you know, it just became like really, I wasn't involved in any of it, but I feel like I just kind of like got lost in, you know, like
Yeah.
with all that going on, they're all at each other's throats, or every day you're like waiting for somebody to just start yelling at each other and everything. And I asked them, you know, like we had my review, and they're like, we'll give you $1, another $1 an hour now. We'll give you another $1 in 6 months, blah, blah, blah. So I'm like, okay, 6 months goes by. I wanted the $1, and you know, like I asked them about it, and they're like, yeah, sure. We'll set it up with HR, blah, blah, blah. 2 weeks goes by, nothing happens. And I asked like, hey man, what's up with I got like, are we gonna go meet up with HR or what are we gonna do? You know? And he's like, yeah. So he's just like, you know what I mean? He's just kind of blowing me off.
Keeps blowing
at
you
that
off.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I went online and just like paid a couple bucks on like resumebuilder.com and just had them build me
Fuck
up a
yeah.
resume.
Fuck yeah.
Like with that, yeah, like with my experience and everything. Sent it out, and a facility maintenance company based out of Philly sends me an email back. Well, they did like a couple places did. I actually got like a couple interviews, like a retirement home did,
Nice.
the facility maintenance place, and a play and learn. Is that the one? There's like
Play
a
and
bunch of
Learn?
them around
Yeah.
here.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah, yeah.
another
It's like a
Daycare.
kinder
like-
care.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and they needed like a maintenance guy to do like this area or whatever. So I took their interview, and it was good. And I was like, okay, cool. Now I have something to go back in with and say,
Yeah.
you know, like, give me my $1 or I'm bouncing, you know?
Yeah.
But during that time, since I used the resume builder and I went on Glassdoor, and just once you build the resume, then you can just do like quick apply,
Yeah.
just hit all of them.
Nice.
And then the facility maintenance company, they hit me up and said, like, I see the companies in Philly, and I'm like, man, I don't know if I want to go to Philly every day. And he's like, hey, I'm the lead mechanic over here, blah, blah, blah. We're at a local pharmaceutical company. And then he gives me the address, and it's fucking in North Wales, you know?
Oh.
So,
And so it's
I'm
right by
like-
where you live, right?
yeah.
Oh.
So I'm like,
Good.
awesome.
Dude, you know what? Like, this is something like you had bad things that were happening to you when you were doing bad things and you weren't taking care of yourself. You own
Mhm.
up, you clean up your shit, you realize like you have to start doing the right things, not just for you, but for your daughter. And you're working hard and you're doing the right things. And when you do the right things and good things and you're a good person, I believe that good things should happen to you. And this was just like another fucking blessing that you deserve, man. And I'm just so happy to see that you got that. And so like, dude, that is legit the fucking dream though. Right. Like, dude, that's like, that is best case scenario that you probably never thought that would happen in your wildest dreams. Like, oh no, I could never get in here. And because dude, that's a career job. You're like, you legit have a career job now, and you're in a profession where you're making good, and like you can take care of your kid, and like you can be safe, and you have your 401k, and you can go on vacation and all that stuff that like, dude, I remember thinking like this, like, let's say like 6 years ago, I had no idea that any of this would be possible. Right. Like,
Yeah.
I'd be working, like I'd be fucking just breaking my back for the rest of my fucking life. And I was like content with that. And then, you know, like some people show you like a different way to do things, and like a whole new world that I didn't like, you know, like I was the same way as you, like barely graduated high school. Right. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't think I could cut it in a corporate world or an office world or anything like that. Not saying like I am, but you know, like you, like, it just goes to show, like, just like try and do your best and fucking learn and just keep going and bet on yourself, man. Dude, I'm fucking so happy to see that. So you're working for like an HVAC company now. You're contracted out to like at a location, right? Or okay, how's it go?
Yeah, they're facility maintenance. I work on a lot of HVAC equipment mainly, but
So
you
it's
know,
the
like-
whole facility then.
yeah.
And
So
because it's
facility
a
maintenance-
pharmaceutical, do you specialize in like pharmaceutical equipment, or is that a whole nother department that'll have to deal with like the manufacturing of the pharmaceutical stuff?
Yeah, so that's kind of like what the buildings I work in are research and development labs,
Okay.
and they do have like special instruments in there and everything, but
Nice.
I'm more responsible for like the facility side of it, meaning if it's attached to the building or it comes from the building, then we're responsible for it. But if it's like an instrument or like an incubator or like a, like a nitrogen freezer or something,
they have specialized like guys for that.
They have techs for that and everything. And that kind of stuff. So like what I work on is like, we have 2 air handlers in my building. We have two boilers for heating hot water. We have a boiler for steam. We have like a steam generator boiler for like humidity. You know what I mean? Like if you're running the heat all the time.
Can I ask you, who does your equipment breakdown insurance? Do you know?
I do not know the answer to that. I don't cut the POs or anything.
Well, I'm saying like does HSB do your boiler inspections?
No, our boiler inspections.
Is it Chubb?
No, Cleaver Brooks does all.
Oh, fuck off, Cleaver Brooks.
Yeah. No, Cleaver Brooks makes them.
Fuck off, Cleaver Brooks.
It's
Cleaver Brooks is the boiler manufacturer.
Yeah,
you don't fucking know Cleaver. Cleaver Brooks
is good.
They love Butterfingers.
They started
and
clean living. Basically, they should call it Cleaner Brooks.
Yeah.
Cleaner Brooks.
Do you know who does your boiler inspections or no?
That's doesn't sound like
Train does our chillers.
It's all right. It's off topic. So let's get back to it then. I interrupted you. So you're working here and like you have a bunch of stuff. So kind of like you have the air handlers, the boilers, and all that stuff. Mm-hmm. What is a day in the life like for you now at your current job?
Okay, day in the life. I get there. First thing you do is you got to turn your laptop on, check your email, make sure there isn't like some like emergency email there saying like, there's a leak over here in this building. Somebody get the hell over here. This failed overnight. Get on this now. Because like that's third shift. Like if something happens, then they'll write you up a work order. You got to jump on that right away, especially if it's something that is like, if it's cold out and it's part of your HVAC system, you need to get on that shit right away.
Yeah. But you guys too, like, because you're in research and development, there's times where they're doing research where they have to have like temperature controlled environments, right? Like, so
Absolutely.
your shit has to be fucking right?
So what's more important actually is the airflow.
Okay.
Like they have to have, our air handlers have to be 100% outside air, meaning the air can't be recycled. Like there is no return, like how most air handlers, like, so you have the 100% outside air comes in, they temper it, either you heat it or you cool it down to wherever you need. There's coils throughout the building to temper it more for whatever, depending on how you have your thermostat set or whatever.
Yeah.
But you need to have 100% outside air coming in all the time. Then instead of a return, you have exhaust fans everywhere too. So your return is the air comes back out of the building, and then you're constantly bringing in fresh air and you're constantly taking out air. So that you need a lot of energy to heat when, you're blowing the heat in and you're just sucking it right back out.
Jesus.
So
dude, do you know the reason why they can't have recycled air? Like,
because they're working in labs, they're working with stuff that could be potentially hazardous. Now they have fume hoods and everything that they work under, and those exhaust fans obviously have to be in tip-top shape all the time.
Yeah.
But like, say they spill something, like that air still has to be, like there still has to be constant flow of fresh air.
Damn.
But
so go ahead.
Usually everything's repetitive though. Like you have exhaust fans, but you have like, a lead exhaust fan and a lag exhaust fan.
Yeah.
So like one goes down, the other kicks on until you fix the other one.
Okay.
Same with
everything has like a contingency.
Yes, absolutely. Okay. So that's why if a boiler goes down, you have the other one, you turn that one up, work on the other. It's actually awesome. Like
interesting, right?
Yeah, coming from where I came from, like something broke, you had to fix it. You only had one of them, always having a backup is fucking incredible.
Dude,
you know what I mean? Because then you're not behind the 8 ball. Like something breaks, you just fix it. Just do a good job. Don't be lazy. Just fucking, you know what I mean? Dude, like get on it, get it fixed, and you're good.
Yeah, dude. I was looking at a house this weekend and I had like an inspector there, and we were talking about the HVAC unit, and he was explaining to me how it works, and I was like, "This is fucking fascinating that someone fucking thought of this." Right? Like this is like alien technology that someone fucking thought of, because this is fucking genius. You know what I mean? Because like the way he explained it to me, for those like a home HVAC unit, and this is for like an older unit, but legit the coil, the only difference is like when it's hot, the coil heats up, and when it's not, it fucking goes reverse, right? Like it's just one way
that's
or the
what
other.
a split system is.
Yeah, like the Freon, it goes in, and then if it's not, it goes out, and that's it, right? And like it's either like I just thought, I was like, that's just so fucking like whoever thought of that is so fucking smart, right? Like it's the same
Pretty
thing
much.
that does
Engineers
both.
do be smart as shit. You know
They're
what I mean?
fucking
Engineers
smart.
are fucking smart, dude.
But now you're working on those like machines, and like, you know, it seems to like you take pride in the work that you do now. You know what I mean? Because you're contributing to helping people like create medicine. And I know big pharma gets their fucking, they're getting their fucking money, but you're helping also, like, you know, what if someone in your lab discovers something big that can really help people, and you had to help with that, and it's all because of, like, you know, they can't do it without you, and that's an important thing, and you should know that. You know what I mean? Like, you should take pride in what you're doing, because it's an important
curing
thing.
cancer, Liam.
Yeah. Well, I was just about to say their big drug right now is a cancer drug. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I mean, listen, we don't have to get into all that. Like, however you feel about it, whatever. I kind of land in the middle for pretty much everything. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not.
Where's this going? Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, just like, you know, some people think like, you know, big pharma is the devil and blah, blah, blah. They do this. They're controlling us. It's just because with everything that's going on right now, we're not going to talk about it because it's politics. I'm just saying, like, the way I feel about normally something like that, like people get like worked up about certain things.
Yeah.
But dude, fucking everybody's got to work, right? That place is going to be there no matter what. Yeah. They need mechanics, you know, like.
Yeah. There's nothing wrong with that place, right?
Yeah.
You know, like there's nothing.
They have a secret ape lab.
Yeah, I don't know.
Not at our place. Not at
a secret goat farm. I've heard all kinds of wild stories. You know,
there's something going on that Liam's.
You seen the giant cuckoo ball?
What happened to that 7-year-old kid that was at the camp with you? Where did all these kids go that were in those orange jumpsuits, Liam?
So, oh man, remember they would put them in Breaking Bad, they put the fucking people in like the vats of acid and stuff to get rid of people.
In like the rubber tubs or whatever.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, yeah, you can definitely make some shit there.
I remember you told me.
How many dead bodies have you had to get rid of at work?
I plead the fifth.
I remember you told me, Liam, when you were at Camp Adams, is that like you're like, because you're and I'm not trying to down you, but you've admitted saying like you're not like, I know all these North Wales guys, they try to be fucking Johnny Tough Guy, and you've said like, I'm not Johnny fucking Tough Guy, I'm fucking Liam, right? And like,
don't worry, Matt, you're not. It's no secret. You know,
like, but you're not trying to be either, right? Because there's guys that are trying to be fucking Johnny Tough Guy and they're not. But I remember you did tell me the story of when you were at Camp Adams and someone tried to punk you and you had to fight them, even though you didn't want to, right? Yeah. You just had to, otherwise they're just going to take your fucking food. Earlier. You know,
Cabot was there. What was he doing?
It's even worse. yeah.
Cabot's like,
Cabot was up for a visit.
It's like, you're gonna fight someone here.
Tom, it was the same thing, but when you're there, it's like intensified even though, dude. It's like even men, worse. You know,
all boys, right?
Yeah. Not only that, it's all dudes are like fucking about that. You know what I mean? Like they love that shit. Yeah. They like everybody's got to be fucking Johnny Tough Guy up there, you know?
Yeah.
And they love nothing more than watching people fight each other and everything. So you kind of,
and you're working out all the time, you know? And but like you can't be, otherwise they're gonna take your food and fuck with you and all that shit.
Yeah.
Just make sure.
So how was the food? How was the food there?
As bad as you think it is, it's as bad as it was.
Oh man, you know what? Someone told me about did I bring this up on a pop in? But this guy was at the bar the other day, like this is a couple months ago. And so he's like, they're playing Bago outside or cornhole, whatever you call it. And he's like, yo, yeah, man, I won a tournament upstate. You know, I was upstate. And I'm like, oh, really? And he's like, yeah. I was like, they let you play, like, you playing this in jail? And he's like, yeah, man, we play cornhole in jail. I was like, I don't know how many people you want to tell that, like cornhole in jail. But I was like, wow, so you're having cornhole tournaments up in jail? And he's like, yeah. And I was like, oh. And he's like, yeah, the winner would get like, we won hoagies for our block. And I was like, oh man, you won hoagies? That's pretty sweet. He's like, nah, jail hoagies aren't that good, And I'm like, oh yeah, I guess they're not that good. And so then he's saying, and the worst thing is, and I never thought of it, but he said, and then you get the jail farts.
Oh, God.
Like the jail farts.
I didn't know that was a thing.
We had.
Can you imagine me locked in a cell with some other dude that just had a jailhouse hoagie?
God,
well,
dude,
imagine this, Tom.
Oh,
We had former guest of the show, friend of the show, Eddie Rappo, right? Eddie Rappo was convicted of second-degree manslaughter, and when he was on the show, he would tell us that when he was in lockup, he was in killer shape. And I saw him right when he got out. He was fucking just absolutely the best shape. And I was like, well, what were you doing? And he was eating clean living. He worked in the kitchen every day. He would wake up and he would have 32 egg whites, but they didn't have the egg whites separated. He would have to take the eggs and he'd have to separate the yellows from the whites out of 32 eggs. He would
called
eat
yolks, Matt.
Yellows.
Yeah, the yolks on me, huh? So he would take the yolks.
So he took the yellows.
Yeah, he took the yolks and he would have to separate that from 32 eggs. He'd make himself an omelet. And then for a snack, he's just eating cans of beans, like red kidney beans or whatever. And like all he ate was protein. And I asked him, I was like, dude, like, I'm not trying to be crass, but you're fucking like, you must have just stunk. And he's like, oh, the guards, because he's like, my cellie was the same way. He's like, the guards wouldn't even come near our cell sometimes because it just smelled so fucking bad. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I can't even imagine. Oh, did Tim the cook ever tell you the story about the roast beef when he was in prison?
Yeah, Tim the cook told a lot of stories, but yes.
You want to hear this fucking story about prison food? So Tim the cook, shout out, fan of the show, listener to the show. Uncle Timmy, one of his nephews is gonna be on the show in a couple weeks. But he was away and he was working in the kitchen, right? And they were cooking a roast beef. And one of the cooks, right, cooked the roast beef for a little bit, took it out, cut a slit in it.
No way.
And
that's where I thought this was going.
And
fuck the roast beef.
Exactly. But to not
fucking beef curtains, dude.
To not be a bitch. If you saw it, you all had to do it. Otherwise, you're a bitch. So they had to do it.
Ran a train on this roast beef.
Ran a train on the roast
what?
beef. And
Train
then
that beef.
And then like he was
did everyone get their own slit at least?
And then
you know what I mean? I'd be like, all right, I'm cutting another hole though.
Yeah,
seriously.
That's what I would do.
I go last.
Yeah. Who's hungry?
But then he's like, they
talk about au jus.
But then they served it. They finished cooking it and served it.
Dude, that's horrendous.
So like he was telling his boys, like, dude, don't get the roast beef today. Stick to the fucking turkey or whatever.
And they're just watching people eat it. Oh my God.
Eat clean today.
Eat clean. Yeah.
Clean today.
Oh man, you eating clean
today. I worked at a CNC machine. Did they ever bring in like precious metals for like CNC jobs at your place?
Very good idea.
Because the same people, we had the same position at our place.
Oh, like titanium? Like sometimes they would use titanium. Yeah.
And the guys would come in with like it handcuffed and shit to them. And any of the pieces that came off, like, because normally we'd have a guy who would do the same thing, come around, clean up all the spirals and shit. Mm-hmm. And he'd sweep, but like the day those guys came, they would come in with it handcuffed. They would drill out the pieces. They would collect all of the shavings and like weigh it back before they would leave the shop. They would have, like, if they came in with 16 pounds of titanium, they left with 16 pounds of titanium.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And like if pieces were like, you know what I mean, like no, like even fragments of like what came off would go missing.
And if it did, they were fucking raising.
If it did, they were finding it. Yeah, like they were leaving with a different weight.
Is it that expensive, the titanium?
It's like $11,000 a pound, or like even less than that. Like it's crazy expensive.
That's crazy.
They would have platinum, or not platinum. Yeah, I guess titanium was the most common. Carbon fiber sometimes.
Nah, platinum was good. Platinum.
They would have platinum.
Cost a lot.
It didn't look like platinum. Like it wasn't like shiny like you thought it would be. Like I remember seeing it and going, "That's like a brick of platinum."
So like tungsten is that one? Tungsten is like that really heavy steel. Yeah.
Yep. I got Baca tungsten steel knife with a deer antler handle.
Yeah, that's what they would use it for, knives.
For Civil War reenactment. I bought them when I was like, you need this because you're gonna fight them Rebs. You need a good knife.
Did they have tungsten? Did they have tungsten back in the Civil War? Tungsten steel?
They had it at the the gift shop at the Civil War tent battlefield. So there you go. So either way, let's keep it on moving on down the road. So we're coming to the top of time, but there's something I wanted to talk about before we get out of here, Lasmeesh. Something I did not know, but I found out, and you and Byrne are going to start rubbing dicks, baby, because you guys are liking the same shit. So tell me, you guys
are going to be fucking the roast beef together.
Did someone say rubbing dicks?
So talk to me about the comic books. What do you got going on, babe? You're the comic king. Is that what's going down in China?
I'm no king. There's people that have like ridiculous collections and everything, but
you're a big comics guy, right?
Yeah. So when I was younger, that's like the one thing that I look back fondly on that like my father gave me. You know what I mean? Like when I was young, like before I like really lost touch with them, like when my mom came up here and like every once in a while we'd visit for like the weekend or whatever.
And you hated it.
One time, and yeah, pretty much. Yeah. But the one time I went like to his apartment on a weekend and he has this like white box.
Okay.
And inside is a bunch of comics like in the plastic and everything with the cardboard back and whatnot.
Yeah.
And he gave me it. And like really at that point I was like 8 and I'm like, yeah, whatever. I just like throw it on the ground. And there it sat for like ever, but then I got a little bit older and I start cracking them open and like reading them and stuff. And I'm like, this is fucking awesome. I love this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I got real into it when I was like, probably like 12, 13. I started to really like it. And then, put them down for a long time. But then like recently I've like you know what I mean? Like I've rediscovered like my love for like comic books and everything.
Yeah.
Like, because like comic books kind of were like, it was lame if you read comics for a long time. And then all of a sudden they put out like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies and like X-Men and everything.
Yeah.
Then it was like cool. Then it was like okay to like Marvel again. And now it's fucking huge. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like Marvel Studios and DC and like now the shit's huge. But like, so probably in like the last, let's see, like it was 7 now. So like in the last 10 years or so, I like really got back into it again. Like I need another bookcase. It's fucking full now. I got books underneath the entertainment center here. I got some under here. And just like, I just fucking love reading them, and like when I will say like it's just something I use as like it's like the perfect escape. You know what I mean? Like I won't fucking hurt nobody with it. We're not going to lose our place to live. You know what I mean? The lights aren't going to get shut off or anything. And like, I can just escape. It has nothing to do with any of the responsibilities I have or anything, so I can just open it up and I fucking love reading, dude.
Can
I have a favorite superhero?
My favorite is probably Wolverine. Wolverine and Spider-Man are like up at the top.
Yeah.
Daredevil is up there.
Can I ask you this, Liam? So
sure.
I've been accused of, my dad was big into boxing, so I've been accused of like, liking boxing because it was like a pseudo way of remaining like a connection with my dad, right? Or because my dad liked it, kind of thing. And it was just like a way I could stay connected to him in a way. Do you think that, and I remember we talked to the Zeblums and they're big into fishing. And one of the reasons they are, or that it came up, is that because when they did hang out with their dad, even though he had gone away upstate and things like that, when they would come back, they would always go fishing, right? So now they still love fishing to this day. And honestly, I think it's because of the connection that they had with their dad. do you think, I know maybe you and your dad didn't have the best relationship, but in a way, do you think like this love of comics kind of like, it gives you a fond memory of your dad?
Yeah,
Like,
if I have nothing else from him, like I have that. I mean,
like,
we are half of each of our parents, so it makes
Yeah.
sense that I would like something as much as he likes something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just
Yeah.
kind of.
Yeah, like I
ahead.
like getting drunk and screaming at children. I took that from my father.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. No, I love it. Yeah. I love going blind and having seizures all the time. That's my favorite thing.
But yeah,
Right.
man, I get what you're saying. Like if nothing else, I have that.
Yeah.
You know?
So it's
But
kinda
like
similar
that's like
what
your
you're-
connection though. You know what I mean? Like, do you think like maybe you like it more because it's like it kind of you remember him in a way when you're doing it? Like, does that ever cross your mind or no?
Well, I think in the beginning, like probably when I was younger, like in my teens, I was probably like just looking like at that point, you're pretty much just grasping at straws. But like really, like it just kind of now I'm just so into it that
Yeah.
I do believe that I would be into it no matter what at this
Yeah.
point. But
Nice.
it's
Yeah. It is something. Yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
get
It's
you.
not nothing. You're right. It's not nothing.
Yeah.
So,
But that's
I'll
not the
give it
main
that.
reason. Yeah. Tom,
Mhm.
what were you gonna say?
It's kind of your thing with comic books, how you were saying that like people it wasn't like something like it wasn't as popular.
To
No.
Did you read the Invincible
So it's
comic?
kind of
Sorry.
similar to that. It's like professional wrestling when we were younger. Like there was a certain point where it's almost like you're kind of like a comic or like professional wrestling is like almost like a coming out of the closet. So like I remember watching professional wrestling, but I never told people that I watched professional wrestling because it wasn't like perceived as cool. Like you weren't cool if you were watching.
Well, it was
professional
for a
wrestling.
time, but then eventually it
Yeah.
was like you kind of
Yes.
grow out of it, right?
No, I'm
Especially
saying
in-
before that, before like Stone Cold and like stuff like that, like in grade school, like nobody was talking about professional wrestling. Like there was a couple kids, like there was only
Who
like a
held
few,
on.
and then all of a sudden it was like I saw someone
D-Generation
wearing
X.
like an NWO shirt or this. I'm like, I was like, oh man, I was
Austin
like, you watch wrestling
316,
too, and so
yeah.
then it was like you found like all these people that like
Yeah.
also liked it, and it was almost like, oh, it's okay to
Yeah, Bret Hart's awesome. Yeah. I'm with you.
Dude.
Like, yeah, during the Bret Hart era, not so many people were talking about it. But then once, like you're saying, DX, NWO, Austin, like all that came in, then it's fucking, dude, suck it. Is there anything cooler than suck it? Come on.
Yeah.
I got 2 words for you. But yeah, go ahead, Lasmeesh.
No, well, I like he's right. There was kind of like a dead time in between, like
Yeah.
like Hulk and like Macho Man and
Yeah.
Ultimate Warrior. Like it was huge then. Then it kind of died off for a
Yeah.
little bit,
That
and then
was
when
Bret.
like the Attitude Era, like the
Yeah.
Monday Night Wars and
First
everything.
of all, let's not
That's
put it
when
on
it, like-
one wrestler. It wasn't Brett's fault. The only reason people were watching were because of Brett.
Well, do you know who the longest
Taco.
reigning champion, the longest
Yes,
reigning?
Diesel.
Well, fuck, I know you know it, fuck stick. But I was gonna tell them though it wasn't Brett, but the longest reigning champion of that era was Diesel. So if you're gonna put it on anybody for WWF at least, but then when he goes to WCW and they NWO and flip the script and change the game, but whatever, that's fucking ruined. So go ahead, Liam.
I didn't know he was the longest champion. I did not know.
He had the longest time with the belt of the 1990s. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have even guessed him. That's
No one
crazy.
does. No one does. Yeah. So either way, but let's keep it moving. So nice. So yeah, man. No, that's fucking great that you have the comics, and plus too, like you need a hobby. Everyone needs a
Yeah,
hobby.
you gotta have something, right?
You gotta
Yeah.
have something, and comics are fucking cool, man. And
Do you read obscure? Do you read mostly Marvel? Do you read any of like the weird ones like Image comics and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, so Image does The Walking Dead, which is
Ooh.
those
Did you read that?
comics, dude. The Walking Dead, those books are fucking.
They made a book
awesome,
out of
dude.
that?
They're like this thick.
There's
the
4
trades.
of them. They're
Yeah.
massive, dude. Yeah,
Yeah,
four,
my buddy got
four
the
of them together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He waits till they come out. He gets the trades. The Invincible one is good. I get the Umbrella Academy. They're not coming out now, but the Umbrella Academy comics.
Umbrella
are good.
Academy is pretty
Mhm.
fucking good. Have you seen the show?
Yeah, the show's
Dude,
awesome.
Great show.
The comics awesome too.
Oh, 5? Fucking love 5.
It's cool.
Dude, The
Dude.
Boys.
Oh,
Have you
the
ever seen The
boys.
Boys on Prime?
Boys
Dude,
is
the
really
comic-
good.
The comic is, I have to hide it. It's in a fucking closet. Like it can't be, I can't leave it on the bookshelf because there's no way I could ever let Layla, like, if she opened it up by accident. That's how bad those comics were.
What?
Dude, they're fucking, they're
They're
raunchy
that
as hell.
brutal?
They're like raunchy and gory and like they're fucked up, dude.
I would
Those
love.
are-
I mean,
those are-
like, I would love to, like, you and Byrne, because I don't know how to read a comic. I feel like I'm doing it wrong when I do it.
you know, you
Like-
Doesn't know how to read.
Well, no, I'm just saying, like, I feel like I'm not doing it right when I go, like, when I'm going through a comic. I'm like, am I getting it? Like, what am I like? I just don't think I'm doing it correctly. Like, what am I missing? So, but like, I would love, like, you and Byrne kind of give a crash course of like what to look for when you're going through a comic. You know, like that'd be a good
Mhm.
video. But also, you and Byrne
A,
and should,
B, ba, C,
Yeah.
K, D, duh.
yeah, duh. So no, but you guys, that's something we should look into, of like maybe, like, you know, every once a month or something, you guys have like comic talk or nerd talk or whatever the fuck you
Mhm.
want. I mean, it's not nerd talk anymore, but yeah, comic talk
Wow,
or something
man.
like that. But yeah, so nice.
So, are you finding yourself watching more anime pornography now?
I
that
do
you're into
not,
comics?
dude. I'll tell you that most people that like read comics, like watch Star Wars, all that stuff, like are into like, dude, anime like does nothing for me, dude.
Yeah.
It like there's like anime and manga, and it's like super popular, like in, you know what I mean, like in that, I guess you would call it like geek culture or whatever. Like,
Yeah.
but I just don't. It's just not as good. I don't think it's just. To me,
Yeah,
it's
they-
like a waste of my time. There's like so much
Yeah.
material out there that like I
Why
want
am I
to read
watching
and watch
animated
whatever,
when Lisa
and it's
Ann's
like
right
I don't
there?
want to waste my time.
Yeah.
You know,
Why
and
are
you
we
read it
wasting
the other
time?
way.
Mia Khalifa's hanging out.
They go
but
they go
people
right
love
to
it.
left.
People love it, dude.
You read it the other way. Is that
It's not a
what-
joke. No, the manga comics, they go right to left instead of left to right. The pages.
Why?
Yeah, he's
That's
right because
how
they're
they
from
come
Japan.
from Japan.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
They're
But I
driving
will
on the other
say-
side of the street.
Do they
So
really?
some of the they did
Dora is
make
dope, yo. Sorry.
they did make anime for like the X-Men. They made like an anime Blade. They made an anime Iron Man. They made like I'll watch that shit. And they have like some movies on Netflix.
Hold on. The porn anime they did for X-Men?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay. You're talking
No.
about
No.
regular. Gotcha.
Yeah. But I'm sure they do have porn for like every
They have,
character.
they have
If it
porn for
exists.
everything ever.
yeah,
Yes.
there is
they
porn
must,
of it,
Yeah. Yeah.
There's probably
yeah,
a porn for
exactly.
this show that we don't know about.
There's a working perspective porn.
yeah.
Yeah.
Jerking. Jerking.
The guy-
Jerking perspectives. Yeah, nice. So okay, so either way, we're coming to the top of time. I'll tell you what, man. You know, we're usually on the same page with this, and I know you'd be on the pop in, but we would love to have you back on as a guest, Liam, if you'd be willing to come back on.
I would be willing.
We'd love to have you, man. This was a great fucking show. So, like I said, we're coming to the top of time. Before we get out of here, Lasmeesh, anything you want to say to the Lasmeesh fan base that's growing every day? You're going to take over the Mozambique, demo if Justin doesn't watch out. Shout out Mozambique.
We kind of covered it all. Put your carts away, clean up your dog shit, and fucking don't park in handicap spots.
Ooh,
3 things.
that's a
3
big one.
things, dude.
That's
So
a big
little
one.
to ask.
And yeah, it's not. You're right.
It's not the
Not
end of the
asking for
world.
much.
Yeah.
What if
Don't be
they're
a shitty person. Huh?
Don't park there either. Even if you're handicapped, don't park in a handicapped spot. Nobody
Yeah.
park in the handicapped spot. Just leave them empty.
Empty spots.
You're doing
know.
fine. You'll get a close spot.
Yeah. So nice. All right. Very cool. Thanks, Liam. Tom, terrific. Captain Jerkbeard, Tom Salam. What do you got to say to the fans before we get out of here?
I just want to say keep eating healthy and doing that clean living. Everyone's doing it now, especially in high school.
Yeah.
And I feel like
Huge.
it's taken over. I'm so
It's already
glad
taken
that the
over.
future is going to be clean
Yeah.
with no partiers. And I just can't wait for this.
I mean,
this-
there like I
Hopefully.
said, there'll always be partying and drugs. It's just, they're not, it's not, I think that clean living is more popular now than it was when we were coming up. Like I said. So either way,
Right,
Justin,
you said they weren't partying now because they're clean living.
I said that clean living is way more popular now than it was when we were coming up, right? So then maybe partying isn't as crazy, you know? I don't know. I feel like what I said was partying was a lot cooler than being clean living when we were coming up, and now
Still is.
clean living is making a comeback. So
Bait of the
either way,
century.
Justin, Jalen Dub, jdubski, jdubberoonie, anything you want to say to the jdub faithful before we get out of here?
No, I mean, this is really fun. I'm really, it makes me really happy to see Liam, and he always makes me smile, and I like it. It's fun.
Yeah.
What matters to me is if you're funny, and I like Liam because he's funny.
Yeah. And he's living clean, and that's great. So, this has been another episode of the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by Jalen Dub, Justin Richardson, Captain Jerkbeard, Tom Lavelle, and our guest today was the one and only Lasmeesh, Liam Reese. You can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workperspectives@gmail.com. And please like and subscribe, so you can like and subscribe so I stop asking. And then, just keep living clean like everyone's doing. This has been another episode of the Work Perspectives podcast. Thanks for listening. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See ya. Do you have a message or a story inside of you that you've been waiting to tell? Have you always dreamed of writing a book, but are intimidated by the complexities of the book publishing world? Perhaps you want to use a book to launch your public speaking or consulting career. If so, please reach out to Scott and Bell Publishing, located right here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Scott and Bell Publishing handle all genres and authors with all experience levels. Scott and Bell Publishing gives authors 100% creative freedom and a higher royalty split. They can be found at www.skotbell.com. That's www.s as in Sam, K as in kite, O as in October, T as in Tom, B as in boy, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, L as in Larry.com. That's Scott and Bell Publishing, where the authors go.